Chapter 17-19. Zongjing Mingyue also came out of the house and ordered the guards in the courtyard, "Capture them all as long as they are still breathing." She said this because she didn't care if they were injured or crippled. "See, you stuffed Little Roar into Shimin Li's arms? Can you ensure her safety?" Little Roar nodded his head. His barrier could hold on for a period of time but not for too long. "Go." The man who was sent flying by Siyu's slap waved his hand and the guards all attacked. Siyu took out a long black whip and wrapped it around a person's neck. With a forceful pull, that person's head was separated from his body. Little Roar covered his eyes and roared, "Woman, can you not be so cruel?" "Who cares if it's cruel or not?" Siyu's whip kept flying, one whip after another, causing those guards to be sent flying before they could even complete their spirit techniques. Shimin Li also felt that Siyu was a little cruel, but thinking about the current situation, she still chose to shut up and covered Little Roar's mouth. "Dark spiritual force, you're a dark soul master." The guard cried out in alarm. No wonder her fighting strength was so fierce. "You guys go." The guard called for a few more men to go up. These men were much stronger than Siyu, and with a few of them against one person, she gradually found it strenuous. Where did Third Mo go? She muttered in her heart. If this continued, she wouldn't be able to deal with him. Just as she was about to call for reinforcements, a guard finally ran in from outside. When he saw Siyu being surrounded, especially when he saw that she had been hit by spirit energy, his heart tightened. He quickly ran to her side and condensed his spirit energy to attack those people. "How are you?" He stood beside her, blocking all the attacks. "Why are you only here now? If you were any later, you would only be able to see my corpse." Siyu pouted. "I'm going to get the antidote." Third Mo threw the antidote to Shimin Li, ignoring her grievance, and started fighting with those people again. Siyu knew that now wasn't the time to throw a tantrum, so she got up from the ground and joined the battle. Now that Third Mo was here, she couldn't call her men over. Otherwise, Third Mo would definitely fall out with her. Shimin Li swallowed the antidote and could feel the sluggish spiritual power in her body slowly regaining control. Her body also felt much more comfortable. When her spiritual power recovered, she joined the battle. However, she was still young and did not have Sima Yuyue's experience. Even with the reverse nurturing of Little Doe, she could not compete with the strength of these people who were older. It was a good thing that she had Little Roar on her. Little Roar had an unparalleled innate talent for enchantments. He used enchantments to block a lot of attacks for her, preventing her from suffering too many injuries. Zongjing Mingyue had been watching from the side since the start of the battle. When he saw that Shimin Li's spirit power was almost depleted, he retracted the protective layer and attacked Shimin Li. Wah, you woman, it's fine if you're ugly, but your character is so bad. You're so scheming, you actually launched a sneak attack." Little Roar felt the danger and reinforced the barrier in time, allowing Shimin Li to escape the fate of being heavily injured. She turned around and confronted Zongjing Mingyue. "Little Roar, you're wrong. Sneak attacks are not her style. Other than sneak attacks, she can't do anything else." Shimin Li said to Little Roar. Her words were full of sarcasm. "You're the same as your sister. You only know how to talk. When I catch you, you'll understand. This is completely useless." After Zongjing Mingyue finished speaking, her hands quickly formed a seal. Spiritual power quickly gathered in between her hands. Shimin Li could feel the terror of that spiritual power. I didn't think that in just a few decades, her strength would actually increase so much. She was shocked and kept calling Little Doe. If it didn't attack, she would probably die here today. Little Roar was anxious and urged, Hurry and wake that guy up. I don't think I can take it anymore." Shimin Li was anxious too, but that guy was unreliable. He wouldn't wake up until the last moment of his life. What to do? What to do? Third Mo and Siyu also saw the situation here, but they were trapped and couldn't escape. Everyone's thoughts turned, but only a few breaths of time had passed. No matter if Siyu had any other trump cards, she wouldn't be able to complete it in such a short period of time. When he saw the white light that Zongjing Mingyue sent over, Little Roar thought that he was done for. If he didn't die today, he wouldn't be able to keep his beautiful fur. Thinking that it was going to be disfigured, it covered its eyes as if it was trying to deceive itself. In a daze, he seemed to hear you use familiar scolding voice. So embarrassing. He opened his eyes. He was still in his own spirit barrier. His spirit barrier wasn't broken, and he and Shimin Li weren't injured. And in front of them stood the figure that they had been yearning for day and night. You're finally here." He excitedly flew to Sima Yuyue. He was so emotional that tears and snot were all over his face. So embarrassing. Sima Yue picked him up in disdain. Why don't you do that action again? Ooh, this baby is scared. Little Roar didn't care how much Sima Yue disliked him. He waved his little limbs in the air. It was the same familiar action, the same familiar feeling. Zongjing Mingyue didn't think that Sima Yue would appear at this time. Although this was the first time they met, they weren't strangers. Ever since the Zongjing clan was destroyed, Sima Yue's appearance was deeply imprinted in her mind. I haven't gone to find you, but you're here. Zongjing Mingyue spoke as if it was many years ago. I didn't think that we would meet again under such circumstances. Sima Yue threw Little Roar into Shimin Li's arms and confronted Zongjing Mingyue. As for the others, when Sima Yue arrived, they all stopped. Third Imo and Siyu returned to her side at the same time. I didn't think that you would actually survive. Zongjing Mingyue said, the soul refining lamp is useless to you. You're really blessed by the heavens. I always felt that things weren't perfect. Even though the Zongjing clan and Huayang Palace were destroyed, there was still you. Sima Yue said. Today is the time for us to settle our differences. I let you escape last time, but I don't believe that you can be reborn again this time. Today it's time to end everything. Sima Yue opened up her little realm and let the Sima family's guards come out to deal with the others. She then fought with Zongjing Mingyue. Zongjing Mingyue quickly used her spirit technique. It was a huge white bird. It was different from the usual birds formed by spirit energy. This bird looked more real and holy, making people want to worship it. You're really good at acting. Sima Yue snorted. She didn't use any spirit energy. Instead, she jumped up and went up personally, punching the huge bird. Holy big bird? Let's see how you're going to act. Chapter 1720. Sima Yue had used up all of her strength in this punch. Everyone could feel that her fist was filled with boundless power, as if it could destroy the heavens and earth. When the fist collided with the white bird formed by spiritual energy, there was no sound, but everyone saw the white bird crack and dissipate. How is this possible? I've added the power of faith to it, so how could you possibly defeat me? Zongjing Hanyu thought that this was her ultimate move that could definitely deal with Sima Yue, but she didn't expect that it couldn't even withstand one move. Do you think you're the only one with the power of faith? Sima Yue blew on her fist. Although I don't know what method you used to improve your strength so quickly, your power of faith was cultivated using a secret method. It's not pure power of faith. Compared to mine, you're far inferior. How is that possible? How can you have the power of faith? Zongjing Hanyu couldn't believe it, her expression turned sinister. Why not? Isn't it just this? Sima Yue released her power of faith and for a moment she became holy. Zongjing Hanyu was stunned and kept muttering that it was impossible. Sima Yue's power of faith was so pure and holy. Compared to her, his power of faith was like the difference between the real thing and the fake. Sima Yue smiled when she saw Zongjing Hanyu's defeated look. She had liked to compare herself with her since she was young. One of the reasons why she had hurt her was because she was inferior to her in every aspect and was jealous of her. Now she was going to crush her pride bit by bit. First, she was going to defeat her mentally so that she would forever be beneath her. Yue, don't kill her for now, Third Imo suddenly said. Although Sima Yue did not know why Third Imo was pleading with her, she still nodded because she trusted him. Zongjing Hanyu was indeed the holy daughter of the Sage Pavilion. Her will was much firmer than others. Although this was a huge blow to her, she quickly regained her senses. We still don't know who will win or lose. She shouted loudly and condensed her fire attribute spirit energy, turning it into a large red bird. Sima Yue chuckled lightly and directly condensed a large flaming sword, splitting her large bird into two. Zongjing Hanyu saw that her spirit technique was so easily broken by Sima Yue, so she congealed water attribute spirit energy and a water pillar fell from the sky towards Sima Yue's flaming blade. However, Sima Yue took the initiative to disperse the flaming blade and congealed a water whip to wrap around Zongjing Hanyu's waist. Just when Zongjing Hanyu was surprised that Sima Yue had these attributes, she saw Sima Yue suddenly smile. Seeing that smile, she panicked. Based on her understanding of Sima Yue, every time she smiled like that, it meant that she was going to win. Sure enough, she held the water whip in one hand and condensed lightning attribute spiritual energy in the other. Then, there was no then. When Zongjing Hanyu fell to the ground, she still didn't understand why she was defeated so easily. Where was the huge battle she had envisioned? Where was the countless times she had envisioned torturing Sima Yue? How did the ending turn out like this? In front of her, she didn't even have the strength to fight back. Clearly Clearly she still had so many spirit techniques that she hadn't used, clearly she still had so many tricks up her sleeves, how could she be defeated so easily? Sima Yue landed beside her and saw her staring at her innocent-looking eyes, her eyes were filled with disbelief. You're not satisfied, right? Zongjing Hanyu moved her eyes with difficulty, trying to see her face clearly. Actually, there's nothing to be unhappy about. You thought you could defeat me last time, so you can do it again this time? Sima Yue guessed her thoughts. Last time I was killed because you used my trust in you and took advantage of the loophole. But it's different this time, you don't have my trust and you don't understand me. But I know your attributes, I know your strength, I know what you've learned. I know what you've done on a particular day and I know when you're in closed-door cultivation. Zongjing Hanyu's eyes widened. She thought it was impossible, but Sima Yue didn't look like that at all. She was very sure that she really knew. You think it's impossible? Sima Yue squatted down. You chose to be above others, so you should know that your actions are no longer a secret. As long as I have the heart, what can't I do? I just need to find a few people to bribe them and they'll know everything about you. How? You think that I'll end my revenge after destroying the Zhongzheng clan? I haven't killed you yet, how can I let my guard down? Know your enemy, I know how to do that too. At this time, Third Mo and Siyu walked over. Sima Yue stood up and asked, Shameless Third, why do you want to keep her? You know what I'm thinking. We found something wrong recently so we kept her. Maybe we can find something. Third Mo said. What's the matter? Sima Yue asked. Black-robed men. Sima Yue took a deep breath. You suspect that it's related to the Sage Pavilion? I didn't think of it before, but it shouldn't be a coincidence that these girls were captured here. The black-robed men appeared nearby recently, and this girl is involved in this matter. I'm just guessing, I don't have any evidence. Third Mo said. Sima Yue was silent for a while. If that's the case, we really can't kill her. Since she's the holy daughter of the Sage Pavilion, and she's behind the kidnapping of girls, she might know something. I'll see if I can find anything useful. Zongjing Hanyu was heavily injured and was attacked by Sima Yue, so she was mentally weak. Sima Yue quickly found a lot of useful information from her Sea of Consciousness. How is it? Siyu asked. Sima Yue sighed and said unwillingly, seems like we can't kill her for now. Is the black-robed men's matter caused by the Sage Pavilion? I'm not sure if she knows, but she knows that the black-robed men are related to the Sage Pavilion. These girls were prepared for the black-robed men. Sima Yue continued, but she didn't contact them directly. You want to keep her, do you have a plan? Third Mo asked. You know me best. Sima Yue took out a pill and stuffed it into Zongjing Hanyu's mouth to save her life, then continued, she came this time to talk to the black-robed men. As long as we pretend to be her, we can meet the black-robed men. We might be able to find out something then. If she died, her life jade would shatter and the people of the Sage Pavilion would know. Then this plan won't work. Then we'll let her live for 2 more days. Shimonli was unwilling. What about those girls? Siyu pointed at the group of girls who came out of the room to watch the show. Chapter 1721. When the women saw Sima Yue and the others, they huddled together in fear. Sima Yue glanced at them with a headache. If she let these people go now, the news would spread. At that time, there would be a change in her plan. However, it wouldn't be good to lock them up here. What a headache. Sister, they're all poisoned. Shimonli said, we can use this as an excuse to let them stay here for a while. We need to give them the antidote so they can't leave for the time being. That's a good idea, Sima Yue said. Let's set up another barrier here so that we can't leave before the poison is removed. When I'm done, I can give them the antidote. By the way, the antidote shouldn't be too difficult, right? Shimonli took out the jade bottle and passed it to her. This is the antidote jade bottle that third brother gave me. Sima Yue took it and sniffed it. Although the antidote was gone, the smell was still there. The antidote is not difficult. I sort of guessed it. I'll check on them later and we'll be able to determine the composition of the antidote. She said confidently, now you can go over and have a look with them. You're not going? Siyu asked. I want to deal with this person. Sima Yue picked up the person on the ground and brought her to a random room. After setting up a barrier, she brought Zongjing Hanyu into the spirit pagoda. When she came out again, she would be alone. As for Zongjing Hanyu, before she needed her identity, she would stay properly in the spirit pagoda. As for how the beasts inside would treat her, that was their business. However, based on their love and care for Sima Yue, one could imagine Zongjing Hanyu's days. Sima Yue left the room. Shimonli had already finished talking to those girls. Thank you for saving us. The girl stepped forward and looked at her with gratitude and adoration. You're welcome. Let me check your body. I want to confirm the poison in your body so that I can develop the antidote, Sima Yue said with a smile. Let me do it, said the woman who had spoken earlier. Then come with me. Sima Yue returned to the house and asked the woman to sit on the chair and stretch out her hand. She sat beside her and checked her pulse. After about a minute she took her hand back. This poison is a little troublesome. It might take a few days. Just wait here for a few days. Once the antidote is developed, I'll have someone send it over immediately. Are you leaving? The woman asked. We have other things to do. But it won't affect the detoxification. But don't worry, we'll leave 2 people to take care of you. We'll also create a barrier for you so that others won't be able to enter. Once you recover your spiritual energy, you can leave. Thank you. The woman thanked him again and left. Siyu came in from outside and leaned against the door asking, Who do you want to keep? Lear is too young. Those things are not suitable for her. Sima Yue said, Besides, she has been locked up here before, so they will trust her more easily. Will she agree? I will. I'm the older sister. Sima Yue changed the topic after saying this. She looked at Third Mo and asked, Why are you still in the human realm? You didn't go back after leaving last time? Hee hee. Siyu smiled and didn't answer. You've been by his side all these years? Sima Yue was shocked. She felt that it was unbelievable. At first he didn't let me follow him. But you know that I won't change my mind once I've decided on something. Even if he ignores me or chases me away, he can't do anything to me even if I don't leave. Siyu said proudly. That's a good point. Sima Yue looked at her meaningfully. Although she didn't completely get Third Mo from the fact that he came to save her, she was at least someone important to him. This was a huge improvement. I know that there's someone in his heart, but I don't care. I don't ask him to forget that person. I just want to live in his heart. Looking at it now, the results are not bad. I'm very satisfied. I believe that I'll be able to get him in the end. Siyu's eyes shone with hope and happiness. Good luck. Sima Yue waved her fist at her. She and Third Mo had known each other for so many years and knew that there was someone in his heart. Moreover, it wasn't a beautiful memory. Third Mo's personality was weird and stubborn. If she wanted to conquer him completely, it would depend on Siyu's ability. When are you leaving? Do you want me to go with you? Siyu didn't want to talk too much about Third Mo, so she asked. Sima Yue shook her head. The people there are very cautious. Other than the people they contacted, they won't meet anyone. If you guys go with me, you'll alert them. I'll go alone. Then when are you leaving? At night, not far from the agreed location. Weren't you guys investigating the black-robed men? You guys go and check on them. We'll exchange information then. Sima Yue said. Okay. Be careful. Siyu wasn't worried about her. Instead of worrying about this fellow, why not find something else to do? That wouldn't waste time. That afternoon, Sima Yue went to the spirit pagoda to refine the antidote and gave it to Shimonli. She told her to give it to those people after 10 days. 10 days later was the time to hand it over. If there wasn't anyone by then, those black-robed men would find out. And the time she was going to meet those people was before that. But when she disguised herself as Zongjing Hanyu and arrived at the agreed location, those black-robed men didn't come. After waiting for 2 days, she had no choice but to return to the courtyard. Sister? Shimonli was surprised to see Sima Yue back. How's the matter? Sima Yue shook her head. Give them the antidote and let them leave. Soon, Siyu and Third Mo received the news and came back. What happened? Something happened over there. The black-robed men didn't come. Sima Yue said. How did this happen? Did they know what happened here? Third Mo and Siyu were surprised. Zongjing Hanyu went to meet those people because she had something to tell them. But they didn't see anyone now. This was strange. I don't know about this. Zongjing Hanyu didn't receive any news at all. So I plan to go to the Sage Pavilion to take a look. Sima Yue told her plan. You want to go to the Sage Pavilion? After Shimonli sent all the girls away, she heard this and disagreed. Sister, do you know that because of one sentence from the Sage Pavilion, you had no choice but to disguise as a man for the past few decades? If you go to the Sage Pavilion now, aren't you sending yourself to the tiger's den? Chapter 1722. A lamb walking into a tiger's den? What's going on? Siyu didn't know why Sima Yue wanted to dress up as a man. She used to think that she liked it. Actually, it's nothing. Sima Yue didn't care. I went in as Zongjing Hanyu this time. How could they find out my identity so easily? She had Zhong Zhenghanyu's appearance, her aura, and her memories. It wasn't easy for ordinary people to find out that something was wrong with her. But Shiminli was still worried. In her heart, the Sage Pavilion was a very terrifying power. She had come out to travel this time and knew the power of a few powers. She had an instinctive fear towards the Sage Pavilion. You guys still haven't told me what's going on. Siyu was confused by them. Sima Yue explained the reason why she had disguised herself as a man. It was because the Sage Pavilion had announced that any female spirit master would be killed without mercy. If she went to the Sage Pavilion and the Sage Pavilion found out that she was a complete spirit master, no one knew what kind of situation she would face. Shiminli thought that Siyu would persuade Sima Yue after knowing the reason, but she didn't expect Siyu to not be worried at all. Instead, she persuaded her, "What's there to worry about? With your sister's ability, even if she was discovered, they would still be the ones to suffer. If your sister doesn't turn them upside down, they'll be thanking the heavens and earth." Shiminli looked at Siyu speechlessly. She shouldn't have told her. In the end, she couldn't stop Sima Yue even though she knew that she couldn't. Not only that, but Sima Yue also asked Third Mo and the rest to send her back to Paramount Valley, ending her training early. The reason was that she was disobedient and threw off her guards. As for whether she still needed to come out to gain experience, that would depend on whether she could pass Shiminfeng's test. Shiminli was very unwilling, but she didn't dare to refute Sima Yue because she was indeed in the wrong. Moreover, she didn't have the guts to suggest that she go back. Only when she came to the inner region did she realize how weak she was. She wasn't even worth mentioning. It was a coincidence that Third Mo and the rest were investigating the men in black. With Sima Yue's request, they agreed to bring Shiminli back to Paramount Valley. Before leaving, Siyu patted Sima Yue's shoulder and said, "Well, I know you probably won't need it, but if you need it, just contact me. You know that I have a secret technique. I can come here very quickly. If there's a need, I won't hesitate to ask for your help," Sima Yue replied with a smile. Siyu saw her smile and suddenly felt weird, but she couldn't blame her, so she suppressed that feeling and left with Shiminli. Sima Yue smiled when she saw Siyu's expression before she left. His gaze was so reluctant as if something was really going to happen to him. There's a price to pay for what you gain, but sometimes death isn't the end, it's the beginning. Yin Lin's words suddenly rang in her mind again, and the smile on her face slowly disappeared. Was her calamity about to come? She still believed in Yin Lin's words, so she knew that she was going to face a calamity. The dark and light attributes were getting harder and harder to balance, and the power of faith was getting harder and harder to suppress. She could feel that her body was reaching its limit. Perhaps not long later she would really face a calamity. No wonder she felt so flustered recently. Mother hasn't been rescued yet, I don't want to face a calamity so early. She touched her chest. She couldn't die. If she died, her soul wouldn't have any memories in the ghost realm. She wouldn't remember her family and friends, and she wouldn't remember that she was going to save her mother. So many years of cultivation would be wasted. So, she had to go to the ghost realm alive. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened her eyes again, she had calmed down. She decided that once she found out about the Sage Pavilion, she would go into seclusion to cultivate. Because she was disguised as Zhong Zhenghanyu, she couldn't call out her spirit beasts, so she could only rush to the Sage Pavilion's branch. The Sage Pavilion's flashy palace was built in the outskirts of the city. Sima Yue saw the palace and curled her lips. The Sage Pavilion's palace was so luxurious, who knew how much of the people's wealth was taken from them. The two guards at the door saw Sima Yue and quickly bowed. "Greetings to Holy Daughter." Sima Yue looked at Zhong Zhenghanyu and nodded coldly. "Where's your palace master?" "He's meeting a guest in the main hall." The guard replied. "What guest?" "He actually wants her to meet him personally." "Didn't he know that I was coming?" Sima Yue said with a sullen face. "Holy Daughter, please calm down." A hearty laugh came from inside. A lady wearing the Sage Pavilion's palace master uniform came out and smiled at Sima Yue. "Of course I know that Holy Daughter is coming. I was delayed by something just now. I hope Holy Daughter won't take offense." "Is Palace Master Gu meeting an important guest?" Sima Yue's face didn't look good, as if she wouldn't give up if you didn't explain yourself. "It's the clan master of an aristocratic family. He didn't know that Holy Daughter would come at this time and came to report the situation to me," Gu Qing said. The clan master of an aristocratic family had a lot of weight. Sima Yue's expression softened. "I wonder if you're done talking? I have something to talk to you about," Sima Yue said. Is it about the Sacred City Assembly? Gu Qing asked. Sacred City Assembly? Why, Holy Daughter doesn't know. I came out to settle some matters and haven't contacted the sect for a while. Sima Yue said, why is the Sacred City Assembly suddenly called? Holy Daughter, please come in, we're on our way. Sima Yue walked in front, thinking about what the Sage Pavilion was up to. This sacred city was different from the one in the Yilin continent. This sacred city was the Sage Pavilion's old nest, and they thought that they were very holy, so they named it Sacred City. Zongjing Hanyu didn't hear about the Sacred City Assembly before she left. Why did she suddenly want to call for it now? After Gu Qing told her about the Sacred City Assembly, her expression didn't change, but her heart was in turmoil. Because the Sacred City Assembly wasn't called to deal with the current chaotic situation, but to unite the various powers to deal with the ancient spirit beasts that were rising rapidly in recent years. They were preparing to send invitations to thousands of clans, covering all the first-class powers in the inner regions. If they succeeded, the ancient spirit beasts would face an unprecedented situation. She didn't know if Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior had received the news, but she had to think of a way to inform him, or else she would be caught off guard. Chapter 1723. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, I didn't expect such a big thing to happen when I came out to settle things. We all know that the Saintess is dealing with confidential matters and rarely communicates with the outside world. The delay in news is only temporary. Zongjing Hanyu's current position in the Sage Pavilion was very special, so even if she was the pavilion master of the Sage Pavilion, Gu Qing was very polite to her. Recently, those ancient spirit beasts have indeed been very rampant. They have killed many humans and snatched many resources. If we can get rid of them, it would be a great blessing for the human race. Sima Yue said, however, if those ancient spiritual beasts get the news, they won't let things continue, right? If the ancient spiritual beasts find out that we want to join forces with other forces to deal with them, I'm afraid they will come out to stop us. Sima Yue said. So we have to find a reasonable reason to cover it up. Gu Qing said, there's more than one big thing now, right? Sima Yue pondered for a moment. There were only 2 or 3 things that could be done to gather all the forces together without alerting the ancient spiritual beasts. Could it be the Heaven Splitter Devil Sword? She guessed. Lord Holy Maiden is truly worthy of being the Pavilion Master's favorite person right now. It's the Devil Sword murdering heaven. Gu Qing said, these few years the Devil Sword murdering heaven has appeared from time to time, causing many massacres. Furthermore, it has become more and more demonic over the years and has become an important factor that threatens the safety of mankind. With this as an excuse, even if the ancient spirit beasts discover our actions, they will think that we are discussing the matter of the Devil Sword. Not bad, Sima Yue praised. These are all good ideas that Lord Holy Sun came up with. When Gu Qing mentioned Lord Holy Sun, she had a proud look on her face. Alright, let's get down to business. Sima Yue looked at the people in the room and signaled Gu Qing to let them out. Gu Qing understood tacitly and said to the others in the room, you can all go down, you don't need to serve me for the time being. Yes, Pavilion Master. When all the servant girls left, Sima Yue said, do you know about the fox hunting plan? I've heard of this name before, but I've never come into contact with it. Is this related to the purpose of this visit? Gu Qing asked. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. I shouldn't have told you this, but the situation is urgent, so I can only ask you to do it. Saintess, what exactly is this fox hunting plan? Gu Qing asked when she saw Sima Yue's serious expression. Well, Sima Yue hesitated. She was not willing to tell her. Saintess, if you don't tell me, I won't be able to give orders to my subordinates. If you make a mistake, it's fine for us, but how are you going to explain it to the sect? If you're afraid that your subordinates will find out, you can rest assured. I'll only instruct my subordinates to do the job and won't tell them the reason. Gu Qing had always been curious about the fox hunting plan, but since she was not involved, she had no way of knowing the inside story. She only knew that it was a big deal. Now that she finally had the chance, how could she let it go? If she handled it well, she might even be rewarded by the sect. This. Sima Yue furrowed her brows and hesitated for a moment. Then, as if she had made up her mind, she sighed and said, you're right, this matter, it's just that once you know about it, you must not tell anyone, understand? Saintess, don't worry. I won't tell anyone. If you're worried, I can make an oath. Gu Qing was very sincere. There's no need to make an oath. Sima Yue stopped her. One of the reasons why I was hesitating was because I was afraid that you would be involved in this matter. Saintess, please tell me. Actually, this fox hunting plan is to select women from all over the mainland and bring them here to be given to others. Sima Yue said vaguely. Gu Qing's heart was in suspense. Those women aren't willing, right? Gu Qing asked. Who would be willing to be a human cauldron? That's why this plan is carried out secretly. Sima Yue said calmly. She didn't care about the outcome of those women at all. Gu Qing was a little surprised. She didn't expect the fox hunting plan to be like this. It seemed like it wasn't a good thing. Who were those women sent to? She asked. I don't know. But according to what I know, they should have been given to those black-robed men. Sima Yue said. What? Gu Qing exclaimed. How could this be with the black-robed men? She saw that Sima Yue didn't look like she was joking. She swallowed her words. In the sect, nothing was impossible. Sima Yue waited for her to digest the news before continuing. We've sent many people over a few years ago. Originally we should send them over now, but something happened. What happened? They're gone. They're gone? Yeah, those selected women were all rescued by someone. Sima Yue said, now no one is going to deliver the goods. The people who were supposed to meet didn't come to see me either. I don't know what's going on now. Since they're gone, we'll catch more to replace them. Gu Qing said. No way. Those women were selected after a careful selection process. Ordinary women don't even meet the requirements. Sima Yue said. What does the Saintess want us to do? Are we going to capture those people? Gu Qing asked. I had some matters to attend to and was delayed on my way here. When I got there, it was already empty. I don't know how long ago it was. If we catch them now, we don't know who they are. Then what should we do? We can only leave it at that for now. I'll go back and report to the pavilion master and see what to say. Sima Yue said, what you need to do now is to find out who's behind this. Once you find them, kill them without mercy. I don't know if those people who were rescued know the inside story. So you definitely can't let them spread the news. Do you understand? I understand. Gu Qing replied. At the same time, she heaved a sigh of relief. If it was just to kill those people, it would be much easier. Furthermore, she wouldn't have to take responsibility for this matter. Sima Yue then told her where those women were kept. Then she said, this matter must be carried out secretly. If others know that the fox hunting plan is related to the Sage Pavilion or the black-robed men, then the consequences. I understand. I'll be careful. Gu Qing promised. I believe in Pavilion Master Gu's ability. Sima Yue said, I still have to return to the sect and personally report this matter to the sect master. I won't delay any longer. Gu Qing brought her to the teleportation array. Only those with status in the Sage Pavilion could use it. Sima Yue used the teleportation array to go directly to the sacred city. Chapter 1724. Sacred City. The entire city was built like a palace, and it was a white palace. Sima Yue's first impression was that it was pretentious. Zhongjing Hanyu's appearance was very useful here. Those who saw her had to bow to her. All she had to do was smile and nod at them. Saintess, you've finally returned. A maid ran over. Sima Yue recognized that this was one of her personal maidservants, Gu Shi. She had left Gu Shi behind in Sacred City when Sima Yue went on a secret mission. What's the matter? She imitated Zhongjing Hanyu's tone and spoke coldly. This servant tried to contact you before, but I couldn't. I thought something had happened to you. Gu Shi said worriedly. Sima Yue paused and glanced at her. You know that I'm on a secret mission, so it's not convenient for me to contact you. What's there to be surprised about? This servant knows her mistake. Gu Shi lowered her head and said, Yes. Let's talk when we get back, Sima Yue said and turned to leave. Oh, isn't this our new saintess? Why are you in such a hurry to come back? Do you miss our pavilion master? A strange voice came from the side. Sima Yue turned around and saw a woman in a white dress with peach blossoms embroidered on the hem. She was surrounded by a group of people. She searched through Zhongjing Hanyu's memories and quickly found out about this person's identity and the conflict between her and Zhongjing Hanyu. Tao Shui, one of the girls who competed for Saintess with Zhongjing Hanyu last time. She had a high chance of winning, so much so that she called herself a Saintess. Who would have thought that the final Saintess would be Zhongjing Hanyu? Although he was kept in the general pavilion in the end, he had always been against Zhongjing Hanyu. Moreover, she always thought that Zhongjing Hanyu could become the Saintess because she had an ambiguous relationship with the pavilion master, so she always looked for opportunities to run on Zhongjing Hanyu. If it was Zhongjing Hanyu herself, she might have argued with Tao Shui. But at this time, Sima Yu was a fake. She had no interest in the intrigue between these women, so she just glanced at Tao Shui. She didn't even say a word before she turned and left. Did this woman have a sex change today? He actually left without saying a word. Tao Shui looked at Sima Yue's back view in astonishment. She had prepared a long conversation with her. Now she felt like she had punched cotton, which made her feel very uncomfortable. Young miss, why lower yourself to the same level as this kind of person? The maidservant on the side said, wait until her reputation is ruined at this grand meeting. Let's see if she can still be arrogant in the future. This kind of person who doesn't have a family backing her up, once she's rejected by the sect, she's nothing. Only then was Tao Shui happy. She praised, you're right. Let's just wait and see. When Sima Yue returned to her residence, a group of maidservants rushed out to welcome her. Lady Saintess. Sima Yue glanced at them, thinking that Zongjing Hanyu really knew how to enjoy life. Gushi, come with me. The rest of you can leave. Yes, Saintess. Sima Yue brought Gushi into the house. She asked, did anything happen in the city recently? It's about the same as when Saintess left. But recently, it seems like many people with higher status have returned. It seems that Holy Sun has returned too. Sima Yue's breath tightened. Holy Sun? Wasn't that Wu Lingyu? He's back? Why didn't she know? She suppressed her restless heart and made herself sound calm. She asked, didn't he not return for a long time? Why would he return at this time? He said that the pavilion master asked him to return. It should be for this meeting. Gushi said. Mem, is there anything else? Sima Yue asked. Everything else is about the same as before. There's nothing special. Gushi said, oh right, there's one more thing. I heard that Holy Sun brought back a woman. That woman is very liked by the pavilion master. She relied on the relationship between the pavilion master and Holy Sun to be very arrogant in the sect. He brought a woman back? Sima Yue suddenly felt that the blood in her body was surging. There was a primitive force that was about to explode. Yes. Gushi saw her face change. Saintess Yu, Sima Yue knew that she overreacted. She didn't deny it. She coughed twice and said, don't tell anyone. Gushi immediately understood what she meant. So Saintess liked Holy Sun too. She nodded and said, I won't tell anyone. Sima Yue then asked a few other questions. Gushi answered them one by one. Because her tone and understanding of the situation was the same as before, she didn't think that the person in front of her wasn't Zongjing Hanyu. At this time a white paper crane flew in. Zongjing Hanyu looked at it and said to Gushi, I'm going to see the pavilion master. She had to face what was to come. She also wanted to ask Wu Lingyu why he didn't contact her when he came back. She went to the huge palace in the city. There weren't many people here. Those who could enter were people with status. She walked into the spacious hall. There was only a middle-aged man sitting on top. That man had ordinary facial features. Because of the holy aura he exuded, it was more comfortable to look at. But after glancing at him, she lowered her eyes and didn't look at him anymore. Hanyu greets pavilion master. Sima Yue followed Zongjing Hanyu and bowed. Qiuqi didn't open his eyes and didn't speak. He let her do that. After a while, he opened his mouth and said, Hanyu, you didn't handle the matter well this time. Hanyu knows her mistake. Please punish me, pavilion master. Sima Yue didn't explain. Because there was no point in talking to Qiuqi. Qiuqi opened his eyes and said, that side is very angry. Tell me what happened. It's like this. After I arrived there, I went to check on the selected girls. After confirming that there were no mistakes, I went to see them according to pavilion master's instructions. But I waited there for 2 days and no one came. When I went back, those girls had already been rescued. Sima Yue said, Pavilion master, could it be that they did it on purpose? If I had been there, those women wouldn't have been rescued. Qiuqi stared at her for a while and said, no, but they must have found something. That's why they gave up on meeting you. You didn't bring that thing to them? Sima Yue took out a black box. Although she was curious about it, she didn't touch it in order to not arouse suspicion. Qiuqi waved his hand and the box flew into his hand. After confirming that the box wasn't opened, his expression became better. At this time, a guard's voice came from outside, greetings to Holy Sun. Pavilion master is meeting Holy Daughter. You can't enter without orders. Chapter 1725. Really? Then I'll wait. A gentle voice came from outside. Hearing this voice, he could feel the gentle smile of the person outside. Sima Yu tried her best to restrain herself before she could stop herself from looking back. Qiu Qi put away the box and said to the people outside, "Let him in." Then a tall figure walked in from outside. Sima Yu turned around and saw Wu Lingyu's familiar face. He's back? Why didn't they contact him? She stared straight at him, trying to read his face, but he didn't even look at her. "Greetings, Pavilion Master." Wu Lingyu bowed slightly to Qiu Qi. "Lingyu, why are you here today?" Qiu Qi asked. "It's about the conference. I think there are some things that need to be discussed." Wu Lingyu said. "Since you're in charge of this matter, you don't have to tell me the details. You can make the decision." Qiu Qi said. "Yes, but I think it's better to report some things to you," Wu Lingyu said. "Go ahead." When Wu Lingyu talked about the preparations for the conference, Sima Yue kept staring at him. In the end, even Qiu Qi noticed that something was wrong. "Han Yu, what are you looking at?" Qiu Qi asked. Wu Lingyu also looked over. Sima Yue seemed to have confirmed something. She smiled and said, "Others have told me that the Holy Sun is incomparably handsome. There are also people who say that men who work hard are the most charming. They are attracted to the saint. Natural and unrestrained, without the slightest shyness, as if the person who was staring at him just now wasn't her at all." Wu Lingyu glanced at her and smiled. "Thank you for your praise, Saintess. I'm just stating facts." Sima Yue turned her gaze to Qiu Qi. After a while, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked out together. When they were outside and there was no one around, Wu Lingyu said, "This was supposed to be done by the saint and saintess together. I was the one doing it before. Now that you're back, you have to help." Sima Yue glanced at him indifferently. "Since the Pavilion Master has given you full authority, Master Saint, please take charge until the end." With that, she left without looking back. Wu Lingyu looked at her back and murmured, "Interesting, interesting." "What's interesting? Who's interested?" A fiery red figure jumped into his sight. "Did you peek at other women behind my back again?" "I just met an interesting person," Wu Lingyu said. "You mean that woman? You've taken a fancy to her?" The woman in red curled her lips. "That's a very dangerous thing to do. You're thinking too much." Wu Lingyu patted the woman's head and left. The woman in red snorted unhappily at his back and smiled at Sima Yue's back. Sima Yue did not return to Zongjing Hanyu's palace. Instead, she left the main hall and turned into a palace at the side. "Master Saintess." The guard bowed to her but was actually blocking her way. "I want to see the Vice Pavilion Master, please inform him." Sima Yue said to the guard. The guard looked at her suspiciously but still turned and went in. "Zongjing Hanyu wants to see me?" Tang Yun was surprised. He wasn't familiar with Zongjing Hanyu. No, to be exact, Zongjing Hanyu knew that he didn't like her. She had never come to find him before. Why did she come today? "I don't want to see her. Just say I'm busy." Tang Yun didn't want to see her and rejected her. The guard went out but came back in after a while. "Vice Pavilion Master, Saintess said she missed the time we met outside Fair Eastern City. If you don't see her, you'll be struck by lightning. She said that because you want to see her." Tang Yun was stunned and said to the guard, "Invite her in." The guard went out and quickly brought Sima Yue in. Tang Yun waved his hand and dismissed the people around him. "You've got guts. You dare to sneak in here." He looked at Sima Yue and tried to figure out how she turned into Zongjing Hanyu. "I heard that the Sima family spirit technique is fusion. Did you fuse Zongjing Hanyu with you?" "I have a contract beast that can transform." Sima Yue found a seat and sat down. "How did you sneak in here?" Tang Yun asked. Sima Yue explained the situation simply and asked, "What's up with that fake saintess? Where's Lingyu? Is he back?" "How do you know he's fake and not him?" Tang Yun asked. "Although he looks exactly the same as Lingyu and imitates his movements. But as long as I look him in the eye, I know that he's a fake." Sima Yue said. "It's not your original appearance. It's not strange that he can't recognize you." Tang Yun said. "If he's affectionate towards you now, you'll probably flip out again. It's not the way he looks at me but the way he looks at others." Sima Yue said. "Tell me, who is that person? You think I know? If you don't know, who else would know?" Sima Yue looked at him. "Is that person from the Devil Clan too?" "No, but he listens to Lingyu." Tang Yun said. "Do you know that Lingyu has a substitute?" "It's him?" What about him?" "He's still in the devil world." "What's the situation in the devil world now? After so many years, he still can't handle the Devil King?" "The situation in the devil world has always been grim," Tang Yun said. "The Devil King has ruled the devil world for hundreds of thousands of years. You can imagine how powerful they have become from generation to generation. As for Lingyu, even if he still has some descendants following him, to fight against such a powerful figure. Sima Yue didn't need to say the rest. She understood what he meant. She didn't need to guess to know how bad his situation was. What can I do for him? She rubbed her eyebrows. She was a little frustrated. You're fine. That's the best help you can give him. Tang Yun said. The situation there is very complicated. Don't think about going over. I know. I'm not powerful enough now. I won't go over and cause trouble for him. Sima Yue said. That's good. Tang Yun knew that she wasn't an irrational person. Speaking of which, when are you leaving? I remember Lingyu saying that you're investigating the black-robed men? Yes. But after so many years there hasn't been any results. Tang Yun shrugged his shoulders. He was now sure that this matter was definitely related to the Sage Pavilion. I originally planned to come here to investigate the black-robed men. Aren't we going to hold a joint meeting now? Let's wait for this matter to pass before looking at the situation. Sima Yue stood up. I'll leave the black-robed men's matter to you. I think that with this, you should be able to gain something. I'll go back first. If there's anything, I'll contact you again. Chapter 1726. After leaving Tang Yun's palace, Sima Yue was not in a good mood. Wu Lingyu was in such a difficult situation in the Devil Realm, but there was nothing she could do for him. Strength, if only her strength was a little higher. She clenched her hands and breathed deeply to relax herself. Recently she had been thirsting for power too much. Hey, stop right there. A red figure landed in front of her from the beam, blocking her path. Who are you? Sima Yue sized her up. You are the woman that the Holy Sun brought back. How did you know? The woman was a little surprised. Everyone in the Sage Pavilion is dressed in white. At most, they would embroider different embroidery on their clothes. Sima Yue said. You're dressed in red, yet you're still so ostentatious. Who else could it be other than the woman that the saint brought back? Your reaction is really fast. My name is Hongwei. Sima Yue nodded at her and wanted to walk around her. However, Hongwei took a step to the side and continued to block her way. What do you want? Sima Yue looked at the person in front of her with an unfriendly expression. You're so rude. I've already told you who I am. Why don't you tell me your name? Don't you know that politeness demands reciprocity? Hongwei rebuked. Although she knew that the Holy Sun had brought back Wu Lingyu's people, she was in a bad mood and didn't want to pay attention to anyone. She wasn't an unreasonable woman. She glanced at Hongwei and said, Others may spoil you, but you have to know that the world doesn't revolve around you. I'll spare your life today for Wu Lingyu's sake, but I won't let you off so easily next time. She emphasized the words Wu Lingyu. Hongwei should be able to understand that her Wu Lingyu was not this fake Holy Sun. After that, she walked around Hongwei and left without even looking at her. Hongwei was very angry after being threatened. She wanted to stop Sima Yue, but she found that she couldn't move at all. What did you do to me? She was shocked that she didn't notice it at all. It's just a small punishment. You'll be fine after 2 hours. Sima Yue's voice came from behind. She was so angry that she wanted to stomp her feet. Although Tang Yun's palace was not as lively as the other few vice pavilion masters, there were still quite a number of people coming and going. The passers-by saw her standing there motionless and couldn't help but point at her. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll dig your eyes out. She roared at those people. The people in the Sage Pavilion naturally knew of her special identity. After being yelled at by her, they all left obediently. Hongwei waited for 2 hours to pass before she could move her restrained body. She angrily ran into Tang Yun's palace. When she saw Tang Yun leaning on a low couch, the anger in her heart grew. You're just going to watch me get bullied outside? She sat opposite Tang Yun and said angrily. Tang Yun looked up at her. You asked for it. Are you really my brother? I'm your sister. You're just going to watch me get bullied outside. You're saying I asked for it? Hongwei snatched the book from his hand. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's that I can't help you. Tang Yun said. I don't even dare to offend that woman. You still went to find trouble with her when she was in a bad mood. Did you ask for it? You don't even dare to offend her? I'm just a holy maiden. You're still a vice pavilion master, all right? Useless. Hongwei said disdainfully. She's not just any holy maiden. You wanted to come here to play, so I let them bring you in. In order to prevent you from causing trouble for me, I'll give you a warning. In this world, there's a woman that we can't offend. So you can't go find trouble with her. Exposing our identities is a small matter. Being punished by the Lord is a big matter. Tang Yun warned. Tiske, although the Lord is a holy son, he only has that Sima Yue in his heart, right? He would punish you for a holy maiden. He's not the kind of person who would have tender feelings for the fairer sex. Unless that holy maiden is. Hongwei paused. Her expression turned horrified. She covered her mouth and said, "You're saying that she's that woman? Sima Yue?" Tang Yun snatched his book back from her hand and gave her a "you're not that stupid" expression. Hongwei was stunned. She actually offended that woman just now? Wu, she wouldn't be skinned alive and thrown into a smelly ditch, right? Why didn't you remind me earlier? Are you still my brother? She looked at Tang Yun resentfully. Who asked you to find trouble with her without asking me? Tang Yun didn't sympathize with her at all. You're always so brainless. You should learn from your mistakes. I saw that she attracted the Holy Son's attention, so I was unhappy. Who knew that it would be her? Hongwei mumbled. I have brother, stop reading. Quickly think of a solution for me. I don't want to be thrown into a smelly ditch by the Lord again. Don't worry. Since she's already punished you, she won't bother about it anymore. She's not a petty person. Tang Yun wasn't worried at all. Just don't provoke her in the future. That's it? Are you sure? Hongwei was still worried. Alright, hurry up and leave. Don't bother me in front of me. Tang Yun waved his hand impatiently and chased her out. Hongwei came out of the palace and muttered, I have to give it to the Holy Son. Don't do stupid things like me. When Sima Yue returned to Zhongzheng Hanyu's place, her emotions had already stabilized. She thought of the fake Holy Son and felt that this alliance would be established because the conditions given by the Sage Pavilion were too tempting. No, I have to inform them first. If not, when the alliance is established, it will be too late for him to think of a solution. She let Mi Air transform into Zhongzheng Hanyu's appearance, then she transformed into an inconspicuous servant girl. She quietly left the place and found a safe place. She called out Little Lucky and the ancient spirit beast that was protecting him. Little Lucky, I have something for you, she told Little Lucky about the current situation, then said, I'll think of a way to let you leave this city. Do you have a way to find your father? Little Lucky nodded. After you go out, tell your father this news. Then stay by his side and don't leave, understand? With that, she called Little Roar out. Little Roar will go with you. If there's any news, I'll let you know through him. Little Roar and Little Lucky had a good relationship. Now that the ancient spirit beast was in trouble, he would definitely not shirk his duty. However, it was the only one who knew what it was thinking. Although Little Lucky didn't want to leave her, he was much more mature now and understood the seriousness of the situation. He could only agree. Sima Yue faced the sky. I'll have to trouble you to help me send them out. The guy in the sky hesitated for a moment. Then a spatial tunnel appeared in front of Little Lucky. After Little Lucky and the others entered, it slowly closed. Although there were many experts in the Saint City, no one noticed the change in space. If it was her, she wouldn't be able to do it. Chapter 1727. In the following days, Sima Yue would often walk around the Sage Pavilion, trying to find out the relationship between the black-robed men and them, but to no avail. It was only then that she understood how well the Sage Pavilion kept their secrets. It was no wonder that Tang Yun had not been able to find any direct contact after so many years. During this period of time, the Sage Pavilion officially sent out invitations to those powers, inviting them to discuss the matter of the Devil's Sword. Most of the forces that received the invitation expressed that they would send people to participate. At the same time, there were rumors circulating outside, saying that the Sage Pavilion was related to the mysterious black-robed man, and that the Sage Pavilion had sent people to kill the person who had saved the girls. When such news appeared at this time, Qiu Qi was so angry that he called Sima Yu over to scold her. Knowing that there was a problem on Gu Qing's side, he directly sent people to capture Gu Qing. Sima Yue was locked up to face the wall and was not allowed to come out until the meeting. By the time the Saint and Tang Yun received the news, Sima Yue was already locked up. Although they were worried, they couldn't directly plead for her. After all, they weren't close on the surface. Sima Yue was not worried at all. It was just facing the wall. What was the big deal? But when she came to the place where she faced the wall, she found out that the Sage Pavilion's punishment was rather perverted. The place to face the wall was at the bottom of a cliff called the Forgetful Cliff. Flying was not allowed here, so after going down, there was no way to come back up without someone to pick him up. If that was the case, then it wasn't a big deal. The most important thing was that this place was incomparably cold, and they couldn't use their spiritual energy to resist it. This made them reflect in the bone-chilling cold. The person who sent her down knew her position in the sage pavilion, so he didn't make things difficult for her. He gave her a bottle of pills and said, "This can help you resist the cold." Sima Yue took the pill and said gratefully, "Thank you. Saintish, just stay here for the next few months. Don't go inside." "Is there anything inside?" "We don't know either, but anyone who entered the depths would have already. So, Saintish, it's best that you don't go too deep." "I understand. Thank you for telling me." Sima Yue smiled at them. When the two men saw that she had taken their advice, they didn't delay any longer. They sat on their flying beasts and quickly disappeared into the thick fog. Sima Yue waited for them to disappear before she carefully observed the bottom of the cliff. The entire bottom of the cliff was shrouded in a layer of white fog. It was thickest 100 meters above the ground, making it almost impossible to see the cliffs above. It was much thinner down below. At least it wasn't to the point where it couldn't differentiate between humans and beasts from 5 meters away and humans from 10 meters away. She sensed that the white fog seemed to suppress her spiritual energy, which was why she couldn't use her spiritual energy here. Moreover, the temperature of the white fog was very low. Even if it wasn't frozen, it still made people feel a bone-piercing cold. She sensed for a moment and found that her light attribute spiritual energy was suppressed here, but the ghost energy in her body was not. Thus, she kept all her light attribute spiritual energy back into her dantian, and then called out the ghost energy. Soon she no longer felt cold. She put away the pills that the guard had given her and walked towards the depths of the cliff. The more they didn't let her go, the more curious she was about what was inside. At first, she thought that those people had died because their spiritual energy was suppressed by the white fog. But when she walked deeper into the depths of the cliff, she found that the suppression on her spiritual energy was getting weaker and weaker. Not long after, she found a few skeletons. From their clothes, they were all from the sage pavilion, and they were all women. These people are dead. Aren't the people from the sage pavilion coming to collect their corpses? She despised the way the sage pavilion did things, but she didn't plan to collect their corpses. I wonder where this cliff leads to. She continued forward and found a few more skeletons. It seemed that they had been here for a long time, and they seemed to have been killed by spirit beasts. They flaunt themselves as so holy and righteous, but no one cares about these people who died. She looked down on the sage pavilion more and more. It seems that these people were attacked by spirit beasts, so they died here. From the aura left behind by the skeletons, these people weren't weak. And there were a few of them together. Under the situation where their spiritual energy wasn't suppressed, they actually died here. It seemed that this place was indeed dangerous. I feel a strong aura here. Little Seven suddenly transmitted, and there's an aura that I'm familiar with. You're familiar with it? Could it be at Qingyi's level again? Sima Yue called Little Seven out. Little Seven came out with Qingyi. After Little Seven came out, she sensed it and said, Yu, it's best that we don't go forward. Is it really at the level of an antique? Sima Yue called out. Thinking of Qingyi, she smiled at him. I wasn't talking about you. Qingyi didn't mind her words and said, there is indeed a strong aura here. Is it the same kind of plant as you guys? Sima Yue knew it. Yes. Qingyi nodded. I feel that its aura is comparable to mine. Sima Yue frowned. The sage pavilion actually had such a powerful guy. Under normal circumstances, only plants can live for so long. Little Seven said, but you don't have to worry. Like Qingyi, he can't just casually attack. Sima Yue remembered what Qingyi said and said, even if he can't casually attack, he can provide resources for the sage pavilion. Otherwise, the sage pavilion wouldn't be above the other powers. The guy here can't be the divine medicine Phoenix Nirvana, right? No. Qingyi said confidently, even if it's a divine medicine, it's not as valuable as this guy. Sima Yue's eyes flashed and said, since he can't casually attack, then I can go and see him. Who knows, I might be able to kidnap him and destroy the sage pavilion's foundation. Qingyi, Little Seven was very excited and pulled her hand saying, good. The sage pavilion has caused you so much suffering. Let's go and take back some of the costs. Little Seven, can you deal with that guy? Qingyi asked. Although I can't remember who it is, my sixth sense tells me that that guy shouldn't be my enemy. As long as it's not an enemy, then it's easy to deal with. Let's go. Little Seven said happily. Qingyi couldn't reject Little Seven's request, so he could only follow her. But they hadn't walked far when a spirit beast suddenly jumped out and blocked their way. Sima Yue looked at it. It looked like a tiger but wasn't a tiger. It looked like a leopard but wasn't a leopard. It looked like a bird but wasn't a bird. It had a strong aura and looked like an old guy. It was stronger than her spirit beasts. She guessed that its strength was about the same as a high paragon spirit master. Chapter 1728. Sima Yue looked at the spirit beast and finally understood why all those people died here. In her heart, she compared her opponent's strength with hers. Her chances of winning were a 0. However, she looked at Qing Yi beside her and controlled her legs that wanted to run away. They still had experts on their side. However, the other party didn't kill them as she had expected. Instead, he stared at the three of them for a while before saying, "My master invites you." After that, he turned around and walked away with graceful steps. Sima Yue glanced at Little Seven. The two of them blinked and followed the spirit beast. Seeing the two of them like this, Qing Yi helplessly shook his head and followed them. The spirit beast took them for a long distance. Sima Yue could feel the aura of several spirit beasts along the way, and they were all very powerful. Those auras had been locked onto them from the moment they entered their territory to the moment they left. If it wasn't for the spirit beast leading them, they would have probably rushed out already. "These spirit beasts aren't from the Sage Pavilion, right?" Little Seven said. "If they are, then we're in trouble." In her heart, Sima Yue would eventually go against the Sage Pavilion because the Sage Pavilion had participated in the annihilation of the Shiman clan. Furthermore, Paramount Valley had annihilated the Zhongzheng clan and Yin Yang Palace, which had harmed the Sage Pavilion's interests. More importantly, it had disgraced the Sage Pavilion. Based on the Sage Pavilion's personality, this was something that they would definitely not tolerate. They had to get back at them. Furthermore, if they knew that Sima Yue was the all-elemental spirit master that they were looking for, they would not rest until they were dead. If these spirit beasts were all from the Sage Pavilion, then it would be troublesome for them. They were definitely strong opponents. When the spirit beast in front heard Little Seven's words, it sneered, "In this world other than master, who else can make us serve?" His words were filled with disdain towards the Sage Pavilion. Sima Yue pursed her lips and thought to herself, "Then why are you guys staying in the Sage Pavilion?" After walking for a while, Sima Yue thought that they had not walked too far, but when they arrived she realized that they were already very far away from the holy city. She thought of the spirit beast's leisurely pace. It seemed simple but every step it took was meticulous. Sima Yue was shocked and thought to herself, "Ground shrinking. We're here, let's go in." Sima Yue did not know where they were. She took a step forward and felt as if she had entered a forest. She felt much more comfortable. This is the power of the soul. Qing Yi felt the aura in the air and knew who it was. Little Seven also remembered. She pulled Sima Yue's hand and said excitedly, Yu, I know who this guy is. The things in the air are very good. You should inhale more. When we get back, we'll trick him into leaving and you'll make a killing." Sima Yue was astonished. "Is it that powerful? Do you know what it is?" It was the Tree of Souls that was on par with Qing Yi. If you can absorb its essence, it'll be of great help to your soul power. Little Seven took a deep breath. "This is the aura it emits. Don't you feel comfortable after smelling it?" Sima Yue was shocked. There was actually a Tree of Souls that was on par with the Tree of Life. You little brat. After so many years you're still the same." An old voice sounded beside her. It was as if the person speaking was right beside her. Grandpa bye. Little Seven let go of Sima Yue's hand and jumped up excitedly. "Elder bye." Qing Yi also called out respectfully. This Tree of Souls was even older than the Tree of Life. "Qing Yi, you've become a real Tree of Life." Old Bai's voice was filled with excitement. "I didn't think that we'd be alive until today. Grandpa Bai, where are you?" Little Seven did not see the Tree of Souls and pouted. A white light enveloped them and in the next second, they appeared in another place. It was different from Qing Yi's huge body from before. Sima Yu only saw an old tree stump that could be hugged by a few people. It was only a few meters tall and there were a few white leaves on it. "Grandpa Bai, how did you become like this?" Little Seven saw the Tree of Souls and her eyes turned red. She ran over to support the tree trunk and gently stroked the old bark. Her tears fell down. Don't be sad." The Tree of Souls quickly sprouted a shoot from the trunk and stroked her cheeks. "Grandpa Bai, how did you become like this? Where's your big tree crown? Where's your branch?" Little Seven was very sad. She thought that she could reunite with her old friend. She did not expect to see such a scene. "Don't cry, child. We should be happy that we can meet again alive." The Tree of Souls comforted. "Old Bai, how did you?" Qing Yi walked over and stroked the wrinkles of the tree of life. His voice was choked with sobs. Qing Yi, you've grown up. Qing Yi blinked his eyes and forced his tears back. He asked, Old Bai, what happened? How did you become like this? Sigh. The tree of life sighed deeply. It suddenly felt that little Seven's aura was not right. A power gently stroked her body. You formed a contract with a human? Yes. Little Seven nodded and pointed at Sima Yue. This is my contract master. How did you form a contract with a human? Could it be that he was forced? No, Grandpa Bai. You did it to save me. Little Seven explained the situation. With Qing Yi as a witness, the Tree of Souls did not make things difficult for Sima Yue. However, Sima Yue quickly felt a power enter her sea of consciousness. She saw the scene of her forming a contract with Little Seven and the things that happened between her and Little Seven. Very quickly the power was retracted. Not bad, it's rare to have a human like you. Little Seven grabbed the Tree of Life's branch and said, Grandpa Bai, what happened to you? How did you become like this? Did the Sage Pavilion do something to you? Nothing. The Tree of Souls was unwilling to say more. Qing Yi used his power to probe the ground and shouted, You've been imprisoned. What? I've been imprisoned? Grandpa Bai, how did you get imprisoned here? Was it done by the Sage Pavilion? Little Seven jumped up. I knew that the Sage Pavilion was up to no good. I didn't think that they would dare to hurt you. Sima Yue saw Qing Yi and Little Seven's reaction and asked, What's going on? Little Seven scurried back to Sima Yue's side and pulled her hand. You saved Grandpa Bai. Grandpa Bai is so pitiful. Sima Yue patted her hand. Do you still need to use this on me? But can you let me know what's going on first? Chapter 1729. After Qing Yi and Little Seven's explanation, Sima Yue finally understood why they were so anxious when the Tree of Souls was imprisoned here. It turned out that the Tree of Souls was once as free as they were, but tens of thousands of years ago, it was designed by someone to seal the surrounding land and imprison it here. Being unable to leave this land was originally nothing to the plants, but the seal was a dark seal, causing the land to slowly lose its nutrients, and it could no longer provide nutrients for the Tree of Souls. Moreover, the dark power in the seal would slowly seep into the body of the Tree of Souls along with the soil, disintegrating his power. What? If Elder Bai dies, then the Sage Pavilion won't be able to gain any more power, right? Sima Yue asked. Because only this kind of seal can trap Elder Bai. With Old Bai's strength, he would need at least tens of thousands of years to kill him. Tens of thousands of years is enough for them to develop. Qing Yi said, Furthermore, look at the people from the Sage Pavilion. Their spiritual energy has an affinity with normal people. It's all thanks to Elder Bai. In other words, they are exploiting Elder Bai's strength while imprisoning him? So the shamelessness of the Sage Pavilion has been going on for so long. Sima Yue laughed coldly as she despised the Sage Pavilion even more. Grandpa White doesn't have much strength left. If I stay here any longer, I'll die in a few years. Qing Yi and I can't come, so we can only rely on you. Little Seven said. Sima Yue didn't know why Little Seven and the rest couldn't attack, but after checking the situation she finally understood. The seal below was made entirely of dark obsidian spirit stones. These spirit stones were extremely rare. Although each of them contained a rich amount of spirit energy, not many people dared to use them. This was because the spirit energy contained within them was of the dark and fire attribute. The average person wouldn't be able to digest it. As for the dark fire attribute, it was no different from arsenic to divine trees like Qing Yi and Elder Bai. As long as they touched it, they would feel very uncomfortable. It was no wonder that Elder Bai had been trapped for so many years in a seal set up with obsidian spirit stones. She checked the situation around them and her respect for Elder Bai grew. The plants here are already unable to survive. They don't have the strength to resist the power of the dark obsidian spirit stones, but Elder Bai used his own strength to attract all the energy from the dark obsidian spirit stones to his roots, allowing the other plants to survive. How is it? Can you break this seal? Little Seven looked at Sima Yue. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible. Sima Yu's expression was not relaxed. This seal is a little complicated, but it's a good thing that so many years have passed and its power is almost exhausted. No, at the final moment of the seal, it will be destroyed along with its sealed artifact. Sima Yu said. It. I'll leave it to you. Qing Yi looked at Sima Yu. He didn't say anything polite to her, but his words were heavy. Don't worry, leave this to me. This kind of dark power is useless against me. Sima Yue said, but before that we have to move the surrounding plants away. Otherwise they won't be able to withstand the explosion of power. Let us handle this. Qingyi said. All right. Sima Yue began to deal with the soil. She moved away all the soil around Elder White. Finally, a large hole appeared. In the hole, Elder White's roots were intertwined with a few dark spirit stones. Those dark spirit stones had spirit energy between them, trapping the roots in the middle. How complicated. She glanced at the obsidian stones and thought about which one to open first. Little Seven left Qingyi to move the flowers and trees while she ran to Sima Yue's side and saw her staring blankly at the obsidian stones. Do you not know how to solve it? Little Seven asked. Sima Yue pointed at an obsidian spirit stone and said, this should be the key to the entire seal. Opening it is already halfway to success. You have a but behind it, right? Sima Yue nodded. Half of it has already grown into Old White's roots. If I remove this obsidian stone, it might cause harm to Old White. I don't know Old White well and have never encountered such a situation before, so I don't know what the consequences will be. I also don't know if Old White can withstand it, so I can't act rashly. It's okay. Anyway, the worst outcome won't be worse than the original one. Just do as you wish, don't think about anything else. Old White comforted. But if anything, it's my life. No matter what, it's better than staying here. Being imprisoned without freedom and having to fight against the dark power day after day. He couldn't hold on much longer. Even if he was destroyed, it was better than this. Grandpa White is in pain, but I don't want Grandpa White to disappear. Little Seven looked at her with tears in her eyes. Sima Yue touched her head and said, I won't let your Grandpa White disappear. To remove this seal there should be more than one way. There's still time, I'll study it and see if there are any other ways. If there isn't, we'll try this. Okay. These stones will hurt you. Wait for me up here, I'll go down and take a look. Sima Yue flew to the giant pit and landed on Old White's roots. Why don't you let me air try? Little Seven reminded her, me air is so powerful and he jumped out from the stone, he might be able to deal with these stones. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. She called me air out. Me air looked at the stones and shook his head. The spirit energy is inside the stones. It's easy for me to break them, but it won't work if you want me to pay attention to those. So, he wasn't confident that he wouldn't hurt Old White. Sima Yue was a little disappointed. She thought that me air would be able to do it, but she didn't expect him to fail. If we want to remove the seal, we have to deal with the energy between the stones. Once we move the stones, the energy will retaliate. She frowned, this might still hurt Old White's body. If these stones weren't of the dark fire element, I would break them with one punch. Little Seven pouted unhappily. Why don't you let Little Black try? The only person me air was afraid of was Little Black. If he couldn't, maybe Little Black could. Sima Yue thought about Little Black's identity, he might be able to deal with these stones. Although he looked like a piece of trash, he might be able to block this energy. Chapter 1730. Sima Yue called Little Black out. The little fellow rushed into her arms and bit her arm. It was as happy as a puppy that saw its owner. She grabbed Little Black's neck in disgust and lifted it up. You're not a puppy. If you act like a puppy again, I'll throw you into the dog meat restaurant. Little Hay whimpered and nodded to show that it understood. Those big black eyes looked at Sima Yue aggrievedly, as if she had suffered a great grievance. Unfortunately, she had no resistance to this kind of gaze from her beasts. Okay, I won't throw you to the dog meat restaurant. She sighed. Try this and see if it works for you. She placed Little Black on the ground and ordered it to attack the obsidian spirit stones. Little Black looked at her and then looked at the black stones. It stretched out its paw and smashed the black spirit stones into pieces. Woof woof woof. Little Black was extremely excited when he caught a whiff of the black obsidian spirit stones. He lowered his head and began to chew on one obsidian spirit stone after another. Crack. Crack. Under everyone's horrified gazes, Blackie quickly ate all the small pieces of obsidian. However, it was still not satisfied after eating that piece. It slammed its paw down and split another black spirit stone into several pieces. Then it wrapped up another piece and began to chew on it. Little Seven's mouth twitched. This guy. Sima Yue looked at Little Black, who was happily eating with his butt sticking out. The power of the obsidian spirit stone had no effect on him at all. Moreover, its actions did not trigger the seal, so it did not affect Elder Bai. Blackie, come and try this one. Sima Yu carried Blackie to the side of a dark spirit stone and patted its head, encouraging it. Little Black wagged its tail. Although it didn't know why Yu wanted to change the location, it still obediently smashed the piece that Yu mentioned. At that moment, Sima Yu clearly felt the seal vibrate. Elder Bai could not help but groan. Elder Bai, how are you? She didn't know Elder Bai's situation and was a little worried. I'm fine. It was as if a thorn that had been stuck in my body was pulled out. It hurt a little at that moment, but it will be fine after a while, Mr. Bai replied. Yes, it will be better later on. The seal was made up of over 100 obsidian spirit stones, but it was mainly formed by connecting 10 of the main stones. We've already dealt with one of them. We just need to pluck out the remaining 9. Sima Yu understood that it definitely wasn't just a momentary pain. Its voice sounded a lot weaker than before. 9 more times? Little Seven cried out, it hurts so much just once. Grandpa Bai will die from the pain. Little Hay has already suppressed most of its power. It can't completely neutralize it either. Sima Yu was helpless as well. After pulling out the second stone, Sima Yu asked Little Black to stop. Go play with Little Seven for a while. Sima Yu carried Little Black and flew to the shore. She did not want him to continue. If this continued, Master Bai would not be able to hold on. Little Seven took Little Black from her arms and asked, How is Old White? I haven't taken a look yet. It should be fine. Sima Yu comforted her. I'll take a look first. I'll leave Old White to you, Jingyi said. Okay. Sima Yu nodded at him and flew back to Old White's roots. Old White, I want to feel your current condition. Don't resist me, she said to Old White. After getting Old White's response, she placed her hand on the tree trunk and injected her spirit energy to check on his condition. However, other than her contracted beast, she was not familiar with other plant-type spirit beasts. Hence she could not find anything. She shook her head at Qingyi. Qingyi was silent for a while before flying to Sima Yu. Qingyi. Little Seven cried out in shock and subconsciously pulled on Qingyi's clothes. You stay up there, Qingyi said, and then landed beside Elder Bai. The power of the black spiritual stone made him frown uncomfortably. Why did you come down? Sima Yu asked. I can see Old White's condition, Qingyi said as he placed his hand on the tree trunk and began to check on Old White's condition. He's much weaker than before. Qingyi said, only 2 of them went out. Old White definitely can't take it anymore. Then we can only rest first. Sima Yu said, rest for a few days and see. Qingyi shook his head. It's not enough. As long as the seal is not removed, he will only receive a small amount of energy every day. It's not enough for him to use every day. Then, what should we do? Before Sima Yu could say anything, she saw Qingyi's body emitting a golden light. An endless stream of life energy was injected into the Tree of Souls. No, Qingyi, no. Old White did not allow him to do so. This will consume your energy. Qingyi did not speak, but his hands did not stop moving. Qingyi, if you continue to consume energy like this, it will take twice the effort for half the result. Old White's voice sounded much more energetic. Sima Yu looked at Qingyi. She saw that his face was getting paler and his body was trembling. She went forward and grabbed his hand to stop him from injecting energy. It's done. She brought him back to the top of the pit. At this moment his body swayed twice. Qingyi, how are you? Little Seven threw away Little Black who was in her arms and reached out to support Qingyi. I'm fine. I just need to rest for a while. Qingyi waved his hand. Sima Yu gave him a pill. This is prepared for the beasts. I'm not sure if it has any effect on you. However, I added some soul fluid. It should be of some help to you. Thank you. Qingyi took the pill and ate it. His body felt much better. Soul fluid. Sima Yu thought of something. She left the few of them and returned to Old White's side. She reached out to touch the tree trunk. She could feel the life energy under the ancient wrinkles. It seemed that Qingyi's life energy was not wasted. Old White, since you are the Tree of Souls, then soul-type things should be more useful to you, right? Yes. Then let me try this. Sima Yu took out a bottle of soul fluid. She cut open the tree bark and dripped the soul fluid in. She dripped half a bottle of the soul fluid. Old White absorbed the soul fluid. The entire tree trunk felt much better. Even the few white leaves on the tree were stretched. Thank you. I haven't felt this comfortable in a long time. Old White said. It seems that it is useful to you. Sima Yu smiled. Then how many times can you support it? With Qingyi's and yours I should be able to support it twice. Old White seemed to see hope. Alright then, let's continue. After these 2 times we will rest. We will continue after Qingyi recovers. Alright. After repeating this twice, 3 months later, Sima Yue finally pulled out all the remaining main stones. To be more precise, all of them were eaten by Little Black into his stomach. Chapter 1731. Sima Yue snatched the remaining obsidian spirit stones from Blackie and kept them in her spirit pagoda. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. If you eat too much, you might get bloated. She flicked Little Black's head, not allowing it to eat any more. Without the seal, Little Seven and Qingyi also came down. Grandfather White, how do you feel now? Seven hugged the tree trunk and asked. It's very comfortable. Although Master Bai's voice was still very tired, he was much more relaxed. Thank you. It's good that you're all right. Sima Yue smiled. Her heart ached for the soul fluid that she had used. However, seeing how happy Little Seven and Qingyi were, she felt that it was not a waste. Of course, if it was an ordinary person, she wouldn't be so generous. Sima Yue filled the hole with soil and walked to the side with Little Hay. I'll go meet those spirit beasts. She carried Little Black to the edge of the forest and found the spirit beast that brought her here. My name is Ling. Thank you. Even though he was thanking her, he was still as proud as ever. Sima Yue. Sima Yue saw the kindness in his eyes. You've been protecting Master Bai, haven't you? He is protecting the life here, Ling said. What about the other spirit beasts? This is their habitat. Let's mind our own business. But some of them are friendlier. The other one is from the Sage Pavilion? Not really. The spirit beasts that were willing to follow the Sage Pavilion had all left. Those who haven't left are those who want to live freely here, Ling said. They're all old fogies. If we were to fight with the Sage Pavilion, would they jump out to help the Sage Pavilion? Sima Yue asked. I wouldn't have joined in the past, but I can't say for sure in the future. Huh? They've imprisoned Elder Bai for so many years. We've been able to live for so long because of Elder Bai's kindness. If Elder Bai wants to take revenge, we will not stand by and do nothing. But it's only for Elder Bai. Master Bai will be very happy that you guys are so considerate. Sima Yue said. Woof, woof, woof. When Sima Yue was not paying attention, Little Black ran out and came back with a bone in its mouth. It even wagged its tail proudly at her. Oh my god. Sima Yue facepalmed. She was so angry that she didn't even want to talk. Haha, why does this little guy of yours think of himself as a dog? Ling was amused by Blackie's obsequious behavior. Sima Yue squatted down, dug out the human bone from Little Black's mouth and threw it away. She said helplessly, I have 1 or 2 spirit beasts that are more troublesome. Woof woof woof. Little Black barked at her twice, not knowing if it was agreeing with her. Then you must often have headaches. Ling looked at her sympathetically. Sima Yue smiled. Sometimes I do have a headache. But you dote on it a lot, Ling said affirmatively. Those who are with me are my family, Sima Yue replied. No, you are very fond of it, said the spirit. Sima Yue stared at it for a while and smiled. She did not deny it. She really doted on Little Roar, but this kind of doting did not affect the big picture. You. Little Roar's voice shouted in her mind, making her think that she was hallucinating. What's wrong? She could hear that it was a little excited, but it was not anxious. She guessed that it had encountered something interesting. You were coming to Holy City. You're going to see the cute and adorable me. Are you happy? Little Roar said excitedly. No. Sima Yue poured a bucket of cold water on it. I don't think you're missing me, right? Tell me, what did you encounter that made you so excited? The Holy City Assembly is about to start. We're on the way. I'll contact you when I arrive. You have to miss me. Little Roar said and went silent again. Although Little Roar could not see, Sima Yue still rolled her eyes. Is it that fellow that gave you a headache? Ling said affirmatively. Yes, that fellow. Sima Yue said helplessly but dotingly. It's probably because he thought that something was going to happen, so he's excited. I'm leaving. She brought Little Black back. Little Seven and the rest were still chatting. Little Seven, we're leaving. Little Roar is coming back. I think Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior and the rest will come too. Holy City should be bustling now. We should go back. Sima Yue said to Little Seven and the other 2. If you guys still want to chat, you can stay here and come back when you're done. She thought that it was rare for Little Seven and Qingyi to meet the same kind of people from that era. They definitely had a lot to talk about. Grandpa White said that he wants to go with us. Little Seven came over and held her hand. Grandpa White said that he has been here for too long and wants to go with us. He heard that it's fun to follow you. We'll decide when we find a place that he likes. All right. It's more suitable for Old White to recover in the Spirit Pagoda. Sima Yue agreed. After Old White left the land, she kept him in the Spirit Pagoda with Little Seven and the rest. She looked at Little Black, who was retreating on the ground, and shook her head. No, you have to go back. Others have seen you. Once they see you, my identity will be exposed. Woo woo woo. Little Black didn't bark like a dog this time. He just stared at her with his big eyes. I'll bring you to play next time, Sima Yue said. Otherwise, others will recognize me. They all know you. No, 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 unless you change your appearance. Otherwise you can't. When Little Black heard that, he whimpered twice and turned 2 rounds on the spot. Then, a little black dog turned into a cute little white dog. He stared at her with his big black eyes. Sima Yue. In the end, she still brought this little white dog that was not intelligent enough and only knew how to act cute, and left. Spirit seemed to know what was going on inside. He didn't say much and only said, I'll bring you out. Sima Yue didn't reject him. With him around, she didn't have to worry about anything. Goodbye. After Ling sent her to the place where they met, she left these 2 words and proudly left. Sima Yue brought Little Black back to the bottom of the cliff. When she reached here, she felt that her spirit energy was being suppressed again. Woof woof woof. Little Black was by her feet and barked. Sima Yue squatted down and reached out to pet his head. She looked at the person in front of her cautiously. When she saw the figure clearly, she was very surprised. Assistant Pavilion Master? Why did you come down? Tang Yun saw that she was fine and heaved a sigh of relief. Why aren't you at the bottom of the cliff? I look around when I have time. Sima Yue comforted Little Black and stood up to look at him. Are you going to face the wall and reflect on your mistakes too? Of course not. Before you came down, didn't you ask me to follow the information you gave me to investigate the relationship between the black-robed men and the Sage Pavilion? There's news. This book came from. Chapter 1732. There's news? Yes. Tang Yun continued. Not only that, we also found out that this matter was not done by the Sage Pavilion alone. There is someone behind it, and the person behind it is related to the Chi Spirit. What? Sima Yue was shocked. How is it related to the Chi Spirit? At first we also found it unbelievable. Later on we had no choice but to believe it. Furthermore. And what? We suspect that this matter might have something to do with the Yin clan. With which hidden family? Sima Yue looked at Tang Yun and had some guesses in her heart. Xianxiu clan. Tang Yun said, I know that you have a good relationship with the young master of the Xianxiu clan, so I came to give it to you after I found out. Sima Yue agreed. She suddenly recalled the incident with the Chi Spirit. When she went to save her master, why did the people from the Xianxiu clan appear in such a timely manner? When she returned, the guards told her that someone was looking for her. However, that incident and the people from the Xianxiu clan had only been looking for her for a few days. How could they find her so quickly? Unless they had been there all along, but they didn't want him to go deeper into this matter, so they saved Feng Zhixing and the others. Moreover, they knew that she could summon the heavenly lightning and had the vermilion bird divine fire. That was why they emptied the tomb, so that she wouldn't be able to find anything. When she returned to the clan, she had already cured her father, so she didn't think too much about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have waited until now to realize that something was wrong. She closed her eyes and asked, Does he know about this? I'm not sure, but I think that as the young master he should more or less know a thing or two about the clan. Of course, he couldn't rule out the possibility that only those in power in the family knew about this. You can ask him yourself, said Tang Yun. He's here too? Xianxiu clan will be participating in this meeting too. They haven't reached Holy City yet, Tang Yun said. Holy City will be very lively this time. The Holy City. Sima Yue narrowed her eyes. If she could, she wanted the Holy City to disappear from this mainland. Yue, what do you want? Revenge. Sima Yue said, The Sage Pavilion has done so many inhumane things. This is a good opportunity to expose them. But even so, you don't have the power to go against it. The Sage Pavilion's original power was already very strong, and the power hidden behind them was even stronger. Moreover, its relationship with other forces was even more complicated. At such a time, it's even harder to overthrow them. Are you saying that if there are many people participating, will they help the Sage Pavilion? Sima Yue said. This can be their help, but it can also be our help. You want those people to deal with the Sage Pavilion? That possibility is too small. Tang Yun disagreed with her approach. Compared to Yue, he understood the power of the Sage Pavilion better. You think it's impossible? Sima Yue asked. The Sage Pavilion is different from the Yang clan. They have too many branches and too many people who believe in them. They have many connections with many powers. If you want them to turn against the Sage Pavilion, the possibility is smaller. That's because the benefits given to them are not enough. Sima Yue said, if the benefits given to them are enough, anything is possible. Moreover, who says that I don't have the same power as them? Tang Yun saw her confident smile and was a little surprised. Was there something that he didn't know? Sima Yue saw his expression and smiled. Didn't you say that the Sage Pavilion has many connections with other powers? My power is the same. In fact, I have more connections with other powers than the Sage Pavilion. Moreover, after all these years, they have never given up on investigating the black-robed men. You are? That's right. You forgot that I am the Vice Alliance leader of the Alliance. Sima Yue said, compared to the Sage Pavilion, the Alchemist Guild, the Armament Masters Guild, the Array Masters Guild, the Beast Tamer Guild, the Seeker Spirit Master Guild and the Spirit Master Guild formed an alliance, whose network is bigger. Aha, I forgot about that. Tang Yun laughed out loud. Seeing her confident and slightly mischievous look, he understood why he liked her so much. When the black-robed men attacked the various guilds, they were furious. Although it has been a few decades, they have never stopped investigating the black-robed men. Now that they know that it was the Sage Pavilion who did it, how can they just stand by and watch? But it's not long before the convention. They won't be able to make it even if they want to. Tang Yun was still worried. That's not a problem. They are already on the way and should be here soon. Sima Yue said. How do you know? I already sent the news back before I came down. They already know. Sima Yue said, when the time comes, you can go and contact them and tell them the news. What about you? Of course I'm going to stay here and reflect. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. I'm being punished to stay here and can't go forward. Tang Yun, tell them everything you found out. Then give them my plan for reference. Sima Yue told Tang Yun her plan and said earnestly, I'll leave it to you. You have to work hard. Tang Yun was unhappy that she was leaving all the work to him. Then what are you going to do? My power is so low. Of course I'll just watch from the side. Sima Yue laughed evilly. It's better for you guys to be the vanguard. Tang Yun felt that he shouldn't talk to her anymore. Otherwise he would be angered to death. Actually, it was fine if he was angry. The problem was that he couldn't do anything to her. He could only be angry. This feeling was too unpleasant. Hence he didn't even say goodbye and left. When he reached the cliff of broken love, he remembered that he hadn't reminded her not to go too deep. It was too dangerous. After thinking about it, he didn't go down. That guy had more ideas than him. Furthermore, he was fine after staying here for 3 months. There shouldn't be any danger. After thinking it through, he left with a peace of mind. Although he was a little resentful towards Sima Yue for making him do these things, he still had to do what he had to do. Who asked him to have a life of hard work? After Sima Yue confirmed that there was no one around, she brought Little Black into the spirit pagoda. Seeing Little Black turn white, the beasties were surprised and pulled it away to chat. Sima Yue didn't care about them. She went to the place where Elder Bai was staying. It wasn't far from Qingyi. At this time Old White looked much better. There were a few more branches on the trunk and a lot more leaves. Chapter 1733. Little Seven and the others were chatting when they saw Sima Yue walking over. They smiled and waved at her. Yu, why are you here? I'm here to check on Master Bai and ask if he wants to take revenge. Sima Yue said. Revenge? Elder Bai was stunned. Obviously he had not thought about this at the moment. Yes. Although the person who trapped you is already dead, the people of the Sage Pavilion have known of your existence for generations, but they have never thought of letting you go. Instead, they have continuously taken from you, causing you to become so weak. Don't you want revenge? Sima Yue asked. We have to take revenge, of course we have to take revenge. Little Seven said, they caused Grandpa Bai to suffer so much, how can we not take revenge? However, I do have some understanding of the Sage Pavilion. With my current strength it would be difficult to deal with them. Besides, I don't want to hurt the innocent. Elder Bai's heart was still relatively benevolent. Perhaps they didn't do anything to you, but after so many years, The holy monarch has used various pretenses to do many bad things. Not many people are clean. Sima Yue said. I only want to take revenge on their pavilion master because for generations only the pavilion master knows of my existence. But with my current strength I can't beat him. Elder Bai said, let's talk about revenge in a few years. As long as Elder Bai has thought it through. Sima Yue said, this time we are preparing to deal with the Sage Pavilion, so we came in to ask. Yes. Elder Bai was very grateful to Sima Yue. Your soul has been a little unstable recently. This is my remaining essence. Take it. As he spoke, a branch drooped down, a few drops of milky white liquid trailing from the leaves. Elder Bai, you are not in a good condition right now. How can I take your essence? Sima Yue refused. You saved me and gave me such a good environment to recuperate. I don't mind giving you this. Just bear with it. Elder Bai said. Seeing that she still wanted to refuse, Elder Bai said, the power in your body is getting harder and harder to control recently, and your soul is also affected. Although your soul fluid can increase the strength of your soul, it can't consolidate it. With this, your soul will be more stable in your body. Don't refuse, you need it now. Sima Yue did not expect Master Bai to know so much about her condition and accept his gift after she was cured. She opened her mouth and the few drops of milky white liquid fell into her mouth. After swallowing the liquid, she felt her entire body relax. Every pore on her body was breathing, as if she had returned to her mother's body. She sat down on the ground. After absorbing all the essence, she could feel that her soul force had become much stronger and more stable. Even the discomfort caused by using a bit of faith power had disappeared. She exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and opened her eyes. She was much more spirited. She stood up and bowed to Elder Bai, saying gratefully, thank you for your gift, Elder Bai. Since Elder Bai didn't want to take revenge now, she didn't want to disturb them and left the spirit pagoda. She could communicate with the outside world from the bottom of the cliff, but she couldn't do so from the spirit pagoda. So even if she had nothing to do at the bottom of the cliff, she had to stay there. After that, news from the outside kept coming in. There was news from Little Roar, from the Union Alliance, from Tang Yun, and from the many scarlet bees that she had left outside. It could be said that she had the most comprehensive information. Even Qiu Qi might not know more than her. On the day before the meeting, Qiu Qi personally came to the bottom of the cliff. Seeing Sima Yue hugging Little Black and shivering, he said, do you know your mistake? This subordinate knows her mistake. Sima Yue obediently admitted her mistake. Since you know your mistake, let's go up. Qiu Qi grabbed her hand and flew to the top of the cliff. His spiritual power was not suppressed at all. She glanced at Qiu Qi. Was his spiritual power different from others? Just like her ghost aura. What are you thinking about? Qiu Qi asked. Pavilion Master, you don't seem to be affected down there. Sima Yue said softly, pretending to be afraid of him. Qiu Qi was very satisfied with her current reaction. It seemed that these few months down there were not in vain. The white fog down there is only suppressing spiritual power. It can't do anything to other powers. I'm only using the power of faith down there. The power of faith can be used like that. Sima Yue was a little surprised. She thought to herself how powerful his power of faith was. Seeing the shock in her eyes, he smiled and patted her shoulders, saying, you're not strong enough now. Wait until you have enough power of faith in your body. You can do it too. Really? Of course. You have to know that our power of faith can suppress all kinds of spiritual power. No spiritual power can break through the defense that we set up with the power of faith. Sima Yue's eyes widened. Was the power of faith that magical? Then wouldn't Pavilion Master be invincible and undefeatable? No matter how strong those people are, they can't compare to Pavilion Master. If everyone in our sect could do it, then wouldn't our Sage Pavilion's power be first? Ha dash, Qiu Qi laughed out loud. If it was that easy, why would we be suppressed by others? The power of faith was accumulated bit by bit. It was very difficult to reach the level of the main body. Even for me, if it wasn't for your help last time, I wouldn't have succeeded. Sima Yue was shocked. Her help? She didn't see this in Zhongzheng Hanyu's memories. Could it be that Qiu Qi made a mistake? No. She realized that there was a blank space in Zhongzheng Hanyu's consciousness. That was a sealed memory. Could it be that Qiu Qi did it? She knew it. Qiu Qi's attitude towards Zhongzheng Hanyu was too strange. With her identity, how could she become the holy daughter of the Sage Pavilion and even personally come to pick her up? She just didn't know what happened between the two of them. Then if we cultivate the power of faith, will there be nothing that can suppress us? If that was the case, her plan had to be changed. Actually, it's not that there isn't, it just doesn't exist. Qiuqi said. Doesn't exist? That's right. You know, our power of faith is obtained from external sources, so it's not pure power of faith. So the only thing that can suppress us in this world is pure power of faith. However, there's no such power of faith in this world. Qiuqi said, cultivate well. When you have enough power of faith in your body, I'll teach you how to use it. Thank you, Pavilion Master. Sima Yue lowered her head, hiding the emotions in her eyes. She now felt that the prophecy that the Sage Pavilion got back then might be true. She was the one who would suppress them. Chapter 1734. Sima Yue followed Qiuqi back. Before leaving, Qiuqi grabbed her shoulder and said, everything will be fine after this is over. After saying that, he left. Sima Yue looked at his back view and felt that he was a little strange. Who knew what Zongjing Hanyu's sealed memories were for? Saintess. Gushi appeared behind her and shouted respectfully. Let's go back. Sima Yue knew that Gushi was here to pick her up. The moment she turned around, she realized that Gushi looked at Qiuqi differently from other people. When they returned to Zongjing Hanyu's place, Sima Yue chased everyone away, leaving only Gushi. Saintess, tomorrow is the meeting. Do you want to have a good rest? Gushi asked. Gushi, you became my personal maidservant after I came to the General Pavilion, right? Sima Yue asked. Then where did you serve before? I used to serve in the Pavilion Master's palace, Gushi replied. Then do you know what my lost memories are? What? Gui looked at her. He didn't know why she asked that. A part of my memory has been sealed, you know that, right? Sima Yue said, Pavilion Master's kindness towards me is a little abnormal. I think it has something to do with my past. Since you were ordered by the Pavilion Master to take care of me, you should know what happened before. This servant doesn't know anything. Gushi lowered her head. Gushi, since you've been with me for so long, you should know that I'm not a good-tempered person. Even if you came from the Pavilion Master. Sima Yue threatened Zongjing Hanyu. Saintess, I really don't know. Gushi lowered her head, not letting Sima Yue see the emotions in her eyes. No, you can choose or not. But I don't think the Pavilion Master will blame me for accidentally killing a servant girl. After all, at this moment I should be more important than you. I know you're a smart person and you know what's best for you, Sima Yue said. Gushi paused and immediately knelt down. Her body trembled as she said, Saintess, this servant really doesn't know what happened. I'll only give you 2 minutes to think about it. Sima Yue sat down and picked up the teacup to drink some tea. 2 minutes later, she put down the teacup and stared at Gushi's head. Gushi looked up at her and said, This servant really doesn't know what happened. I only know that I stayed in the Pavilion Master's palace for a night. After that, this servant was assigned to take care of you. As for what exactly happened, I really don't know. Sima Yue looked at her, trying to figure out the truth of her words. After a while, she got up and walked out. When she passed by Gushi, she paused for a moment. I know that other than taking care of me, you also keep an eye on me. You can tell this to the Pavilion Master if you think you can bear the consequences. After she left, Gushi sat paralyzed on the ground, her clothes were soaked in cold sweat. At that moment, she really felt the murderous intent. Sima Yue returned to her room and set up a spirit barrier. Then she entered the spirit pagoda and went to the place where Zongjing Hanyu was locked up. Zongjing Hanyu had already been tortured by her beasts. When she saw Sima Yue, she only raised her eyelids and didn't even make a sound. Sima Yue didn't want to talk nonsense with her. She just checked her body and looked as if she had expected it. What happy thing did you find on me again? I know what your sealed memories are. Sima Yue continued, do you want to know? No. It's definitely not something good coming out of your mouth. Zongjing Hanyu sneered and didn't look at Sima Yue. Winner takes all, she was now a prisoner. What else could she do? How do you know it's not something good? Maybe it's something good for you? Sima Yue continued, but I heard that Sage Pavilion's holy maiden must be a virgin. I wonder how Qiuqi concealed your identity? What do you mean? Zongjing Hanyu finally looked at her. It's literally what it means. Aren't you curious? You're clearly not a virgin. How did you become a holy maiden? Sima Yue asked. Impossible. I've never done those things before. How could it not be? Zongjing Hanyu didn't believe her. I know you want to attack me and make me break down. But it's useless to fabricate these things. Is that so? How do you know I'm fabricating it? Don't you know the changes in your body? Sima Yue smiled happily. I've already helped you check it out. I've also seen your body. Why didn't I realize that you're a great cauldron in the past? Zongjing Hanyu's expression changed. Sima Yue wasn't wrong. She knew her own body best. Even the smallest changes could be seen in her eyes. But she had never thought about this problem before. Today Sima Yue brought it out. Impossible. You're lying to me. She shook her head, unwilling to believe it. Looking at you, you don't seem happy. That's right. You've always valued your body. You're not willing to compromise. You feel that those men aren't good enough for you. Now that you've lost your virginity for no reason and your memories have been sealed, you really can't be happy. Sima Yu analyzed. However, I think what you're really upset about now is why he wanted you but sealed your memories, right? Do you feel like you've been played? Shut up. Zongjing Hanyu covered her ears and shouted, Sima Yue, you're saying all these without any basis. Don't try to attack me. I won't fall for your trick. How am I trying to attack you? I just feel that you have the right to know the truth. If you really don't want to hear it, then so be it. Sima Yue shrugged. Looking at her pained expression, she smirked. Actually, with your physique, you'll have a better future in Northern Du Clan than in Sage Pavilion. Their cultivation method is especially suitable for you. It's a pity that they're extinct now. Shut up. You slut. Other than using these methods to deal with me, what else can you do? Kill me if you dare. Zongjing Hanyu shouted. You want to die so badly. Sima Yue leaned in front of her and smiled coldly. I wanted to kill you before, but now I understand that you can only endure more pain if you're alive. I'll repay you for all the pain you've inflicted on me. Here you'll realize how luxurious death is. Sima Yue, you slut. Slut. I'm going to kill you. Zongjing Hanyu attacked Sima Yue but was caught by her wrist. Chapter 1735. Sima Yu flung her forcefully and Zongjing Hanyu was thrown out. Her head hit the wall heavily. When she raised her head, blood flowed down her cheeks and dyed one side of her face red. She glared viciously at Sima Yue, wanting to tear her into pieces. Sima Yue wiped her hands and threw the towel on the floor. She said in disdain, It's useless to look at me like that. You should have known that you would end up like this when you cheated and used my feelings. Just kill me. Zongjing Hanyu looked at her. You wouldn't treat your enemies like this in the past. You said that you would kill them directly. Why did you leave me alone? Because I've never hated anyone as much as I hate you. Sima Yue's face was filled with hatred. I want you to watch me walk step by step to the top of the world, while you can only look up at me and never be free. You will suffer for all eternity. Zongjing Hanyu looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Sima Yue looked at the pain, anger, and despair on her face and smiled. Tomorrow I will let you see with your own eyes how the sect that you rely on for survival is destroyed. I will destroy your last hope. After that, she turned and left, instructing Little Spirit to remember to relay the situation outside for Zongjing Hanyu tomorrow. Zongjing Hanyu laid on the ground, looking at her back as she left. The tears she held back for a long time finally fell. Sima Yue left the spirit pagoda in a bad mood. She remembered that before her mother was killed, she had always told her not to take revenge and to live a good life. Mother, you know that carrying hatred will make people unhappy, so you gave it to me like that? She murmured. She blinked her eyes a few times, forcing back the tears in her eyes. The next day, Sima Yue went to the main palace early in the morning. She didn't have to do anything today. She just had to stay by Qiu Qi's side. Thinking of what she knew last night, she looked at Qiu Qi and felt that he was a beast in disguise. You have to stay by my side all the time today, okay? Qiu Qi didn't notice her strange behavior and reminded her. Sima Yue felt that something was wrong with his tone and asked, Did something happen? We only found out last night that the ancient spirit beast got the news from somewhere and rushed over. I'm afraid things won't go so smoothly today. Qiu Qi said, Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior is very powerful. The other ancient spirit beasts are not easy to deal with either. Just remember to follow me today. Yes, I got it, Sima Yue replied. Seeing that it was about time, Qiu Qi led everyone to the venue. Sima Yue followed behind him quietly. She could feel the pressure coming from inside even before she arrived. It seemed like the Sage Pavilion's position was not low. Those who were invited to participate were not ordinary people. After they walked in, the venue immediately quieted down. Qiu Qi came to the main seat and sat down. Sima Yue came to the seat beside him and sat down. That seat was higher than the other vice pavilion masters of the Sage Pavilion. Welcome to today's meeting. I've been quite busy these days, so I hope you can forgive me if I haven't been a good host. Qiuqi said politely. The group of people below replied, don't mention it. Time is tight, so I won't waste any more words. I'll go straight to today's main topic and discuss the purpose of this meeting. As everyone knows, the ancient spirit beasts have been acting more and more wildly recently. They've killed humans, seized territories, and chased away the spirit beasts that used to live there. Their actions are too barbaric and pose a great threat to the lives of humans and spirit beasts. So, we have to think of a way to deal with them today. Pavilion Master Qiu, didn't you invite us here to discuss the matter of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword? Someone below asked. Indeed, the Sky Splitter Devil Sword is also a problem we have to discuss. But we have to discuss this later. Now we have to discuss the ancient spirit beast. Qiuqi said, if we don't solve this problem, countless of us will be threatened by the ancient spirit beasts. Pavilion Master Qiu is right. The ancient spirit beasts have been very rampant recently. The people we send out have all been killed. Just as Qiuqi finished speaking, someone immediately agreed. Sima Yue glanced at that person. Wasn't that Qiuqi's friend? She pursed her lips. Jumping out at this time, no matter how she looked at it, it was to stir up everyone's emotions. It was obvious that Qiuqi had arranged it. However, it would not be just one person like this. There would be at least a few of them. Only then would it be able to stir up the resonance of the others. Sure enough, just as that person finished speaking, a few more people began to agree. They all ridiculed the ancient spirit beast's actions and called for everyone to deal with them together. With these people's words, the anger of the others was also stirred up. They all felt that the ancient spirit beast had gone too far and should be eliminated. I wonder if Pavilion Master has any good ideas? Finally, someone raised the key question. The ancient spirit beast's battle power is too strong. If we deal with them alone, we have no chance of winning. So, if we want to deal with them, the best way is to join forces and form an alliance. Then we can deal with them. Qiuqi said. That's right. I heard that Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior is very strong. Those ancient spirit beasts are also very powerful. If someone leads us, we don't have to be afraid of them. Not only that, if we can capture the ancient spirit beasts and contract them, wouldn't that also increase our strength? But even if we capture them, we can't contract them. It's impossible for them to recognize an owner. Then we can't tame them or contract them. Who says we can't tame them? Have you all forgotten? Didn't some people contract many of them? You're from the Sima family of the 64th state? That's right. They can contract so many ancient spirit beasts. They definitely have a way to tame them. As long as we ask sincerely and obtain the method of taming the spirit beasts, even if it's an ancient spirit beast, we can still use it. Sima Yue did not have much interest in these people's words. It was only when she heard the name of the Sima family that she raised her head and looked at them. Very good, very gutsy. Her courage is commendable. Only, I don't know if she can live until then. The Sima family is also not a family to be trifled with. Although their strength has not risen yet, just one Sima Yue is enough to give us a headache. No matter how strong they are, they can't be enemies with the entire continent, right? As long as we join forces, there won't be a problem. This kind of good beast taming method should be shared with everyone, isn't that right? Sima Yue was so angry that she laughed. These people were really shameless. Sect Master Qin, you're so righteous. Then, are you willing to share your sect's cultivation method with everyone? She asked. Chapter 1736. The moment Sima Yue said that, the entire place went silent for a few seconds. Everyone was surprised that she would say that. Saintess, what do you mean by this? Sect leader Qin was very angry. Literally. Sima Yue shrugged. Sect Master Qin, you should share this technique that is beneficial to everyone. Your technique is also very good. Can't we do the same? Hanyu has always been curious about this. Or is it that Sovereign Qin only thinks that the cultivation method of the Sima family is good, but not others? Then he couldn't use this excuse. Go out and embarrass everyone here. Sima Yue mocked. Xian Qiuhe, who was sitting not far away, heard Sima Yue's words. He lifted his head and looked over. When he saw that it was someone he did not know, he frowned slightly. Sect leader Qin's face turned red. He was just looking for an excuse for his robbing. He did not expect to be exposed by Sima Yue in front of everyone. He had lost all his face. Pavilion Master Qiu, what is the meaning of this? Sect leader Qin felt humiliated. He stood up angrily as if he was going to leave immediately if he didn't give him a solution. Hanyu apologized to sect leader Qin. Qiuqi instructed. Sima Yue stood up and bowed to sect leader Qin. Please calm down, sect leader Qin. Although my words may not be nice, they are for your own good. For our own good. I want to hear how you're going to help us. Sect leader Qin snorted. All right. Then I'll be sect master Qin. Sima Yue said, do you mean that you want to force the Sima family to hand over the beast taming method? Don't be in a hurry to deny it. We're not 3 years old anymore. We all understand. Sect leader Qin wanted to say something, but she stopped him. His face turned even darker. Although this Sima family isn't strong, you can't just look at them. You have to think about the power behind them. The small factions like Paramount Valley and the Heavenly Province Academy that we are on good terms with are not included. Have you thought about the Phoenix race behind them? Do you think you can fight against Feng people? There's also the entire bird race. Although none of you are weak compared to the entire bird race, do you have enough chances of winning? I heard that the Violet Water Dragon clan has already conquered the entire Nine-Star Ocean. Can you really fight against all the spirit beasts in the ocean? Sima Yoyue's words made the people who were hot-headed because of the ancient spiritual beasts sober up. So, according to you, we can't touch the Sima family? Another person jumped out. It's not that we can't move, but we need to use another method. We may not get the results we want if we force them, but we can do it at our own expense. As long as we give them enough benefits, they probably won't object. Sima Yue said, falling out with the Sima family completely or becoming friends with them with benefits, which one do you think is worth it? After that, she bowed to everyone and returned to her seat. Everyone was calculating in their hearts. Although the former had obtained the method of taming beasts, the consequences were endless. On the other hand, although the latter seemed to have lost benefits, it would prevent future troubles. Sima Yue looked at the various expressions of those people and sneered in her heart. If they wanted to touch the Sima family, it would depend on whether they had the ability to bleed. Will the Sima family agree? It seemed like someone was tempted. As long as the Feng people and the bird race don't interfere, the Sima family has no other choice. Sima Yue was ambiguous. Actually, smart people should know that her words were not credible. Let the Feng people and the bird race not interfere? Was that possible? Therefore this premise did not exist at all. However, those people had lost their minds at this moment. They only wanted to obtain the method of taming beasts and did not think about this at all. However, the Sima family is not to be trifled with. If we don't catch the ancient spiritual beasts, the method of taming beasts won't be that useful. Therefore, the premise is to have the ancient spiritual beast. Qiuqi said, otherwise it's not worth offending a bad family for nothing. Therefore he went back to the topic. After what happened just now, everyone's hearts became lively. If they could obtain the ancient spiritual beasts and the method of taming beasts, their strength would rise again and again. The ancient spiritual beasts' killing intent is too strong. If we don't get rid of them, we will never have a day of peace. I agree to forming an alliance to deal with the ancient spiritual beasts. I agree too. Qiuqi's lips curled into a smile. Since everyone agrees, then we can set an alliance. In the future we will all be together. In the future. Bang! A falling figure interrupted Qiuqi's words. Everyone looked carefully. Wasn't it someone from the Sage Pavilion who landed in the middle of the field? Oh! Everyone was shocked. They did not notice how this person appeared. This caused a faint panic to rise in their hearts. It was obvious that the other party did not come with good intentions. If he appeared so quietly, wouldn't that mean that his strength was even higher than theirs? If the other party wanted to do something, would they be able to stop him? You are here to discuss attacking the ancient spiritual beasts. Have you asked for our permission? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's beautiful and cold figure slowly appeared in the air. Her cold gaze swept across everyone, causing them to tremble. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. Everyone shouted. They did not expect her to appear here. Qiuqi's expression was not good, but he was not surprised. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, why are you here? My Saint City did not invite you. The fake Holy Sun spoke out. I will go wherever I want to go. You ants have no right to ask. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior snorted coldly. A ray of spiritual energy attacked him. The fake Holy Sun immediately spat out blood and flew out. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, don't go too far. Qiuqi shouted. Am I going too far? You are all here to discuss how to deal with us. Do I still have to greet your people with a smile? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior snorted. All right, have you thought about how to die? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, You want to kill all of us by yourself? That depends on whether you have the ability. Although everyone's hearts trembled, they did not believe that he could deal with everyone alone. Who says I am alone? The moment Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's voice fell, countless ancient spiritual beasts appeared in the sky above Saint City. The number of people far exceeded the number of people in the meeting. Hey, Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, wait. A voice that Sima Yue was familiar with came from outside the meeting. Then the door was pushed open. Xiachang Tian, He Qindong, Fang Ming and the rest walked in. Little Roar was squatting on his shoulder. Seeing the tense situation, his eyes shone with excitement. Sima Yue looked around. The presidents of the various unions were all here. Everyone was here. Seeing the people from the unions, Qiu Qi frowned. How come he did not know that these people were here? Chapter 1737. President Xia, why are you here? Qiu Qi asked politely. Please search. To see the most complete. Update the fastest. I know some things so I rushed over. What's wrong? Pavilion Master Qiu doesn't seem to welcome us. Xiachang Tian walked up and looked at the people around him, smiling as he greeted a few familiar faces. When the others saw that people from the various guilds had arrived, they all had different expressions. Some were surprised, some were curious and some were worried. No, I'm just curious. Without an invitation, how did you enter the holy city? Qiu Qi said meaningfully. Without an invitation letter, and appearing together with an ancient spiritual beast, everyone was well aware of the meaning behind his words. Old Xia, we don't need to talk so much nonsense. We came here today to ask for an explanation from the Sage Pavilion and the Shenqiu clan. He Qindong stepped forward and looked at Qiu Qi and the people from the Shenqiu clan. Back then, during his succession ceremony, if he hadn't made preparations beforehand, the Weapon Craftsman Guild would have met with an unprecedented disaster. Sima Yue looked at Shenqiu He and saw him frowning in confusion. She looked at He Qindong in confusion, not knowing what he meant. President He, what do you mean by this? Qiu Qi asked. My Sage Pavilion did not invite you because we only invited powers from the inner regions. We did not mean to look down on you. Why do you have to be so angry and come here to demand an explanation? That's right, President He. You don't have to be so conflicted over such a small matter. Someone echoed. Qiu Qi, stop pretending. You know we're not here for this, Fang Ming said. We're here for something else. Something else? He didn't know what was so important that even the old fellows of the Guild Alliance had come out. Could it be that the Sage Pavilion had offended them somehow? Qiu Qi, we don't want to beat around the bush with you. We just want to ask you, what are you trying to do by sending so many black-clothed men out to disrupt this world and attack our various guilds? Xiang Yang accused, you're doing these dirty things under the cloak of holiness and peace. Didn't the God you believe in say that you can't? What? The black-robed men are from the Sage Pavilion? President Xiang, could it be that you're mistaken? That's right, why would the Sage Pavilion do such a thing? Qiu Qi narrowed his eyes, his tone turned cold as he said, President Xiang, you can't make false accusations about this matter. Xiang Yang snorted. Slander? We never do things like that. If we didn't have solid evidence, why would we come here to ask for an explanation? Qiu Qi, you don't really think that if you do things secretly no one will ever know what you're doing, right? Xiachang Tian said disdainfully, if you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. Since you've done it, there will be a day when someone will find out. Xiachang Tian, don't spout nonsense. How could the Sage Pavilion do such a thing? If you spout nonsense, don't blame us for being impolite. Diske, you are all fools who have been deceived by the Sage Pavilion's appearance. Do you really think that the Sage Pavilion is that good? Did I call you here to share the ancient spiritual beast with you? He's just using you guys as cannon fodder. Xiachang Tian pursed his lips. You don't believe me? Did he use the Devil Sword as an excuse to bring you here? Then do you know that the Devil Sword is in the Sage Pavilion? Since that's the case, why are you here to discuss the Devil Sword? The Devil Sword Sky Splitter was in the Sage Pavilion? Everyone was shocked by this news. Even Sima Yue looked at Qiu Qi strangely, wanting to verify if this news was true. Xiachang Tian, if you're here to cause trouble, my Sage Pavilion won't be polite. Although Qiu Qi didn't look angry, those who were familiar with him in the Sage Pavilion knew that his smile was cold and he was already angry. Don't be in a hurry to chase us away. Explain the situation clearly and we'll naturally leave. Xiachang Tian said. Didn't you want evidence just now? Bring them here. Sima Yue looked over and saw people escorting a few people over. Those people were all dressed in black, but with one look she could tell that these people were different from the black-robed men. Xiachang Tian, these people aren't the black-robed men at all. If you want to use this to frame the Sage Pavilion, I'm afraid it won't work, right? Sect leader Qin said. Who said these people are the black-robed men? Look carefully before you speak, alright? Xiachang Tian rolled his eyes at him. These people are from the Sage Pavilion. Xiachang Tian, what are you trying to say? This matter is like this. It'll take a long time and we need some time. You have to be patient. Xiachang Tian told everyone about the fox hunting plan, then told them that Siyu and the others had rescued the people, and Gu Qing had sent people from the Sage Pavilion to chase after those people. After that, they were caught by the Guild Alliance and found out about the matter between the Sage Pavilion and the black-robed men. When everyone heard this, they couldn't believe it. The Sage Pavilion would actually do this? It was too unbelievable. Qiu Qi, your pavilion branch's pavilion master, is still here. You can't be thinking of denying it, right? He Qindong said, when I took over, you all gave me a big gift. I know that you hate the black-robed men, but you captured a few of my Sage Pavilion's people and you want to say that it has something to do with us? Qiu Qi no longer had a smile on his face. He turned back to look at Sima Yue. He didn't think that the small trouble would become a big problem today. Sima Yue lowered her head apologetically, but there was no remorse in her eyes. When she found Gu Qing, it was for this moment. This was the evidence that she purposely sent to the Guild Alliance. It's very simple. Do you know the truth serum? Just give her a little. Won't that do? Xiachang Tian said as he took out a bottle of medicine. Everyone knows about this. Now let's hear the truth. After saying that, he fed her the medicine and threw her to the ground. Xiachang Tian, that is the pavilion master of the Sage Pavilion. How dare you abuse her like this? A vice pavilion master shouted and flew over, wanting to bring Gu Qing back. But before he could touch Gu Qing, he was sent flying. He swayed a few times in the air before stabilizing himself. Protective barrier. You're in such a hurry to kill her? Xiachang Qing said proudly. I saw your hand. It's in attack mode. It's a good thing that we were prepared. To deal with these shameless people, we have to be prepared. Fang Ming said. You're right. It's a good thing that we took measures. The people from the Sage Pavilion were all choked by their words, and they were all extremely angry. But under the watchful eyes of the crowd, they couldn't do anything. If they didn't do anything, they would just expose themselves. Needless to say, those people would believe the guild's words. This book came from Chapter 1738. Love, ugh. Gu Qing on the ground moved and began to struggle uncomfortably on the ground as if she was trapped. Pavilion Master Gu, we have fulfilled our promise and brought you back to the main pavilion. Now you should tell everyone the truth. Xiang Yang walked to her side and said. Gu Qing opened her eyes and looked at him. What is it? Is the Sage Pavilion related to the black-robed men? Xiang Yang asked. Yes. Gu Qing replied. What does it matter? I don't know much either. Then tell me what you know. The fox hunting plan, I only know about the fox hunting plan. What is the fox hunting plan? We will select some women from all over the continent, and then send these women to a designated place. The black people will come and take them away. Gu Qing's words caused an uproar. Many people were stunned by this matter. The fox hunting plan this time has failed. All the women have been rescued. The saintess was very angry. She asked me to bring people to investigate the mastermind behind this. Your holy maiden is the clearest about this matter. Pavilion Master Qiu, is what he said true? Is the Sage Pavilion really related to the black-robed men? Someone jumped out to ask. That urgent look showed that he had suffered a lot under the hands of the black-robed men. She's just the pavilion master of a branch. His words were not trustworthy at all. Who knows if the Guild Alliance did something to her? Tang Yun stood up and said. How can you believe such words? You can't believe me? Then let your holy maiden testify, isn't that the case? Fang Ming said. Actually, there's no need to go through so much trouble. Little Roar whispered into Xiachang Tian's ear. Xiachang Tian smiled and said, Pavilion Master Qiu, as long as you swear that you don't know anything about the black-robed men and have nothing to do with the Sage Pavilion, we will do as you wish. How dare you? How could I, the Pavilion Master, do such a thing? Then let the holy maiden swear that she doesn't know about the black-robed men and didn't ask Gu Qing to kill them. Xiachang Tian looked at Sima Yue. This request isn't too much, right? We've already taken a step back. If you still want to push back then. Everyone's gaze landed on Sima Yue, giving her a lot of pressure. She raised her head and looked at the crowd before her gaze finally landed on Qiuqi. Saintess, please make the oath. The members of the Trade Union Alliance kept urging her. I can't. She bit her lips and kept shaking her head. I can't, I don't want to go to hell. Whoosh! Hearing her words, the crowd went into an uproar and all kinds of discussions sounded out. The black-robed men were really related to the Sage Pavilion. When Qiuqi saw the people below, he knew that he couldn't hide this matter from the people of the Alchemy Guild. If it was an ordinary force, he could deal with it directly. However, the Alchemy Guild was also related to these forces and would not let him stop them. Why did the people from the Alchemy Guild come here so quietly? How did they know about the black-robed men, and why did they bring people from the Sage Pavilion? Everything was already out of his control. President Xia, you said earlier that you wanted to seek an explanation from the Xianqiu clan. What's going on? What else could it be? Of course it's about the black-robed men. The Xianqiu clan is also involved. Xia Changtian said, Young Master Xianqiu, the last time we met you couldn't walk or see, but now your body has recovered. Were they reminiscing? Yue cured your body, but you sent the black-robed men to kill her great-grandfather on his birthday. Yue said that you were her friend, and this is how you repay her? Xianqiu, he looked at Sima Yue subconsciously, seeing that unfamiliar face in her questioning gaze. He said, I didn't know about this at all. What don't you know? You don't know about the black-robed men, or you don't know about killing Yue? The Xianqiu clan did not participate in the black-robed men's matter. Xianqiu, he said confidently, if you don't believe me, I can make an oath. My Xianqiu clan has never. Young master, you can't. Xianqiu Ji interrupted him, not allowing him to make an oath. Elder Ji. Xianqiu, he looked at Xianqiu Ji in disbelief. Could it be? Young master, you can't make an oath. Xianqiu Ji grabbed his hand, seeing his questioning gaze, his expression was sorrowful. Young master, you can't? What else did Xianqiu he not understand? He slowly put down his hand, looking at Sima Yue. He opened his mouth but found that he couldn't say a word. So, the clan was really related to the black-robed men. They really did so many evil things, really. They once wanted to exterminate the entire Sima family. Her gaze was not surprised, not shocked. She knew about it long ago. Then what else could he say to her? Say that he didn't know at all? Even if he didn't know, it couldn't erase what the Xianqiu clan had done. Sima Yue looked at his hurt and self-blaming gaze. She wanted to say that she was actually very happy. At least it proved that her judgment was right, her trust was not let down. But the current situation didn't allow her to do anything strange. Otherwise, if Qiuqi wanted to make a move on her, no one could stop him. Alright, the truth is out now. Xia Changtian said, Qiuqi, it's time for us to settle our debts. Since you're all looking for death, how can I not satisfy you? Man. Qiuqi changed his gentle image. He stopped smiling, his body emitted waves of coldness. Sima Yue, who was beside him, felt the surrounding temperature drop. You don't have to shout, your Sage Pavilion people have all been poisoned. Other than the people here, you have no backup. Feng Ming said. How is that possible? The Sage Pavilion people present didn't believe it. There were so many people in the Sage Pavilion, how could they all be poisoned? Doesn't the Sage Pavilion have to take a pill every month? Feng Ming didn't finish his sentence, but everyone understood. The Guild Alliance people had done something to the pills. After those people ate the pills, they all lost their ability to fight. How is that possible? Those pills were given internally. How could it be? Could it be that we have a spy? Not only that, that person's position is very high. Qiuqi's gaze first landed on Sima Yue. Thinking about how she had been facing the wall at the bottom of the cliff for the past few months, he immediately eliminated her as a suspect. Are you done? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, who had been silently watching the show, spoke up. Then isn't it my turn? After speaking, he looked at the people present. The killing intent in his eyes was very obvious. These people dared to come and discuss how to deal with them, then don't blame him for starting a massacre here. Those people were regretting it to death. Why did they agree to come to this meeting? It was obvious that they had been cheated. Godfather, wait. Little Roar suddenly spoke up, stopping Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, who was about to make a move. Chapter 1739. When Sima Yue heard Little Roar's voice, her hands unconsciously trembled. Godfather? When did this guy recognize Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior as his godfather? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior gave Little Roar preferential treatment. At least he wasn't angry and didn't attack him. What's wrong? He looked at Little Roar who was flying towards him. He didn't pick him up but caught him and threw him onto his shoulder. Mayuyu said that these people were actually tricked into coming here. In the beginning they didn't know that this meeting was about ancient spirit beasts. Although they deserved to die for being tempted later on, it was better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. Thus he spared them this time. I believe they won't do such a foolish thing again. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior furrowed his eyebrows and Little Roar continued, You said that the ancient spirit beasts are not a bloodthirsty race. We can't let them misunderstand you guys, right? As it spoke, it grabbed his clothes and acted like a spoiled child. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior glanced at Sima Yue and Sima Yue nodded slightly, indicating that this was her idea. Although the people of the Sage Pavilion were being controlled, there were still black-robed men under Qiuqi when these people came out. It would be a battle to the death. The people who had come today included over 1,000 first and second-rate forces. If these people were all killed by Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior today, it was likely that this broken alliance would be reunited in another form. At that time, the ancient spiritual beast would be isolated and helpless, and would be hunted down by the entire continent. Then, the ancient spiritual beast would be in great danger. It wasn't that Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior didn't understand this, but today's matter was a provocation to the ancient spirit beasts, so he wanted to kill them all. However, since Sima Yue said so, he would do her a favor. In this way, everyone would owe Sima Yue a favor today. Since Yue said so, I'll let you live. Leave now. If there's a next time, I'll kill you. When those people heard his words, they all walked out. When they met the people from the Union Alliance who were guarding the door, they turned back to look at Xia Chang Tian and the others. I heard that you guys wanted to take advantage of the Sima family? You didn't expect Yue to save you, did you? Xia Chang Tian said disdainfully, waving his hand at the guards. We're here today to settle the score with Qiuqi, not them. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior isn't going to pursue the matter, so why are we stopping them? Let them go. The guards moved to the side, and the people who had been scolded until their faces turned red left dejectedly. However, they didn't go too far. Instead, they chose to observe the situation from a safe distance. They all had the same thought in their hearts. The Sage Pavilion was finished this time. Very quickly, there were only people from the Sage Pavilion and the Shenqiu clan left. Xia Chang Tian interjected, Where are your black-robed men? If you don't call him out now, I'm afraid you won't have another chance. Qiuqi didn't pretend anymore. He took out a signal flare and ignited it. Very quickly, many black-clothed men gathered outside the ancient spiritual beast. Every one of them was very powerful. Since you all want to die, how can we not satisfy you? Qiuqi sneered. I heard that the Sage Pavilion has a special spirit technique that can use the power of faith. Let me test it out. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior didn't like to waste words, and directly attacked Qiuqi. Qiuqi went up to meet him, and the two of them flew into the air to fight. This also signaled the start of the battle. The Guild Alliance, the black-clothed men, and the ancient spiritual beast were all in a mess. The entire sacred city was in a state of battle. Tang Yun didn't join in the battle. Instead, he pulled Sima Yue and quickly left the battle area. Don't go. Don't participate in the battle between those people. Tang Yun warned, just stay here and watch. Hong Wei, stay here and protect her. Hong Wei appeared out of nowhere. When she saw Sima Yue, her expression was a little embarrassed. Big brother, you're going to fight? I still have things to do. Tang Yun said, remember you can't leave Yue's side. Do you understand? Sima Yue grabbed onto him. What are you going to do? I snuck in here. Naturally, I have my mission. Tang Yun said, it's very safe here. You can stay here and don't go out. Do you understand? After speaking, he pulled his hand out and quickly disappeared from their sight. The two of them fell into a short silence. In the end, it was Hong Wei who spoke first. I'm sorry about what happened last time. I didn't know you were the Lord's woman. I've offended you. Please don't take it to heart. Then what did you think it was? The fake Holy Sun is interested in me? Sima Yu understood when she saw the way she was acting. It turned out that she was jealous and she was just implicated. I didn't know at that time. You can't tell the Lord. I don't want to be thrown into the smelly ditch again. Hong Wei said. Thrown into the smelly ditch? When I was in the devil realm. At that time, I didn't know it was the Lord. I thought it was that guy, so I went up and flirted with him. In the end, I was thrown into the smelly ditch. If it wasn't for my brother, he would have killed me. As she spoke, she made a gesture of slitting her throat. Sima Yue was amused by her actions. It seemed like this woman's personality was rather straightforward. She didn't think that Wu Lingyu would do such a thing. Thinking of Wu Lingyu, she suddenly thought of the Sage Pavilion's divine medicine and said to Hong Wei, "Stay here. I'll be back soon." "Where are you going?" "I'm going to find something." "I'll go with you. My brother instructed me not to leave your side." Hong Wei quickly chased after her and left with her. Zongjing Hanyu had never entered the Sage Pavilion's medicine pavilion, but she had passed by it a few times. Sima Yue followed her memory and found the medicine pavilion. The people in the medicine pavilion were also taken down. She didn't know how Tang Yun did it. To be able to poison everyone in the Sage Pavilion, this method could be considered heavenly. The two of them walked in and saw people lying on the ground. Many of them were holding medicinal herbs in their hands. But their divine senses were still awake. When they saw the two of them, their eyes widened. Sima Yue walked over and picked up a medicine boy. "Where's the divine medicine phoenix Nirvana?" "It's actually you, you traitor." The medicine boy looked at Sima Yue hatefully. "Holy maiden, why did you—" Before he could finish his words, a long sword pierced through his heart from the side. Sima Yue turned to look at Hong Wei. The latter pulled out her sword. "He has something in his hand." Sima Yue looked and saw a small black thing in his hand. If he wasn't trying to send a message, he was trying to assassinate her. "Thank you." She nodded gratefully. Then she used her divine senses to enter the medicine boy's sea of consciousness and found out where the divine medicine was. Chapter 1740. Sima Yue and Hong Wei went around the main hall and came to the herbal field at the back. There are so many good medicinal herbs here. Hong Wei looked at the herbs in the medicine field and excitedly rubbed her hands together. Her eyes were shining just like little roars. "You don't need it. Why did you take it?" Sima Yue glanced at her. "Hee, although I can't use it, I can sell it. I can exchange it for money and things," Hong Wei said. "I'll get it. We'll split it later." Sima Yue looked at the herbs. Although they were rare, they were not very attractive to her. "No need, these are for you." After that, she walked around the herb field and headed towards the deepest part of the small herb field. That was where her target was. In the innermost medicinal field, there were no other medicinal herbs planted around it. There was only a short and ugly little tree. "This is the phoenix's nirvana." She moved forward but was blocked by a barrier. Why do these people like to use enchantments to protect their treasures? She curled her lips. This kind of enchantment was completely useless. She used the power of the contract to summon Little Roar back. Little Roar, who was waving flags and cheering by the side of the battlefield, suddenly disappeared from his original position, giving Xia Chang Tian and the others a fright. Why did you call for me? I was just about to watch." Little Roar saw Sima Yue and complained softly. "There's a barrier here. I want you to help me get in." Sima Yue said. What is this? It looks so ugly." Little Roar curiously looked at the phoenix's nirvana. "Divine medicine. This is the phoenix's nirvana? Why is it different from what I expected?" Little Roar said in disdain. "It doesn't matter if it looks good or not, as long as it's a godly medicine." Sima Yue grabbed Little Roar and fused with him before stepping into the medicine field. There's something outside this divine medicine." Little Roar felt that something was wrong the moment he entered and reminded her. Sima Yue nodded and walked over carefully. She did not encounter any obstacles. However, she didn't let her guard down. Thus, when that soundless attack came from the phoenix's nirvana, she accurately dodged it. It's a life-bound beast. Sima Yue finally saw clearly that there was a small transparent snake curled up at the root of the phoenix's nirvana. "Little golden snake, can you handle it?" Sima Yue looked at it carefully and asked in her heart. "I can't. This guy is strong, but Red Flame can." Little Gold said. Sima Yue was curious. Even the little golden snake could not suppress this transparent snake. What was its origin? The life-bound beasts of divine herbs are very strong. It's not because of their strength, but because they're protected by the heavenly Tao, the snake explained. "I see. I didn't expect the divine herb's life-bound beast to be so powerful." "Qian, I'll have to trouble you." Sima Yue called Qian out. Ever since this fellow obtained the inheritance of the old vermilion bird, he had become even more depressed. He would often remain silent in the spirit pagoda. This phoenix nirvana was originally related to the Phoenix clan. As soon as Qi Yan came out, that transparent little snake immediately came over affectionately. He didn't even need to lift a finger to lure it away. Sima Yue was speechless. She took a deep breath. She didn't want to be like Beastie. Phew. She walked over and dug out all the soil around the Phoenix Nirvana. She kept it in the Spirit Pagoda and handed it to Little Spirit. Yue. Hong Wei ran in from outside looking anxious. Have you picked all the herbs? Sima Yue asked. Yue, something happened to my brother and the others. I have to go and find them. Hong Wei said, stay here and don't go out. When it's over, we'll come and get you. What happened? I'll go with you. Sima Yue said. No, my mission is to protect you. I've already disobeyed the order by leaving you here alone. If I bring you there, how am I going to explain to my brother? You're not as strong as your brother, right? If even he can't handle it, it's useless for you to go. At least I'm stronger. Sima Yue said, if there's any danger, I can protect myself. Hong Wei thought about it and agreed in the end. Let's go and talk. She pulled Sima Yue's hand and flew towards the venue. Along the way they saw many corpses from all sides. The once prosperous and holy city had turned into a sea of blood. Sima Yue looked at the corpses and was in a daze. Part of the reason for the loss of these lives was because of her. If she hadn't provided the poison to Tang Yun, the people from the Sage Pavilion wouldn't have been defeated so easily. She didn't feel that she was in the wrong, but facing so many lives that had been lost, she still felt a little guilty. My little bug is here. My brother and the others are trapped in the venue. Hong Wei's voice trembled. Qiu Qi has already found out that my brother betrayed him and has beaten him to a pulp. How can that be? Sima Yue was surprised. We have so many people, but we can't beat those black-robed men. It's mainly Qiu Qi. He used the power of faith to set up a barrier. Even Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior couldn't do anything about it. Now that they can't get out of the venue, they can't defeat him either. Sima Yue thought about what Qiu Qi had said before. It turned out that not only could he use the power of faith as a defense, he could also attack and besiege. We're trapped now. My brother, Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, the Shen Qiu clan, and some people from the Guild Alliance. Sima Yue's heart sank. Even Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior couldn't beat him? Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's power was definitely above Feng Xiang and the others. If he couldn't do anything, then they wouldn't be able to do anything. When they arrived near the venue, there were more and more people fighting. Some blind people attacked them. Hong Wei took out a blood-red whip and dealt with one with a swing. She quickly took Sima Yue to the outside of the venue. Puchi. The people from the Guild Alliance and the ancient spirit beasts were attacking the barrier outside the venue. However, all the attacks were useless against the barrier. They were all absorbed. I didn't expect the power of faith to be so powerful. Hong Wei saw this scene and couldn't help but sigh. At the same time, she was even more worried. Sima Yue saw Fang Ming commanding the people from the Guild Alliance. She ran over and asked, President Fang, where are they? The few presidents knew that she was disguised as Zhong Jing Hanyu. They recognized her when they saw her. Old Xia and Old He are inside. There are also dozens of people. If we can't break this, they won't be able to get out. Sima Yue couldn't see the situation inside clearly. However, she knew that the situation wasn't good from the sounds. If it was a normal battle, there would be sounds. However, there wasn't any movement inside. Ming and the others' attacks were useless. They were all dissolved by Qiu Qi. An unfamiliar voice came from inside. Sima Yue frowned even more. Because this voice came from Wu Lingyu's substitute. Hong Wei heard the scream and lost her mind. She kept attacking the barrier. Chapter 1741. Sima Yue pulled Hong Wei back and tried to calm her down. It's useless. Please search. To see the most complete. The fastest is just a waste of spiritual energy. What should we do? I can't open this barrier. Hong Wei's body was trembling, but she still tried to calm herself down. I have to find a way to open it. They won't last long in there. I'll go in and take a look. Sima Yue said. Can you open it? Hong Wei grabbed her hand. Can you open it? I can pass through the enchantment. Sima Yue said. She pulled Hong Wei to Fang Ming's side and said, President Fang, please take care of her for me. Can you go in? Fang Ming asked. When I fuse with my contracted beast, I can pass through the barrier. I'll go in and take a look. But inside, I can protect myself, Sima Yue said and flew towards the wizardry barrier. You. Before Fang Ming could finish his sentence, He saw Sima Yue's figure pausing for a moment before entering the barrier. He didn't expect that she would really be able to enter. Once Sima Yue crossed the wizardry barrier, she saw the situation inside clearly. Qiu Qi and Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior faced each other in the air. The others were on the ground, all of them injured. Seeing her enter, everyone's expressions changed. Xia Chang Tian, He Qin Dong and the others' eyes lit up. The Sage Pavilion's people's reactions were milder, as they felt that her entering didn't have much of an effect. Xian Qiuhe's body shook when he saw her. He said anxiously, "Why are you here?" Sima Yue did not know how Xian Qiuhe recognized her. Previously during the meeting he looked at her strangely. Now, she was even more certain that he had recognized her long ago. She nodded at him and came to the side of Tang Yun and Wu Lingyu's substitute. Seeing the substitute continuously vomiting blood, she took out a pill and handed it to Tang Yun. This was left behind by Mo Sha. Sima Yue said to Tang Yun. The blood that Wu Lingyu's substitute spat out was not normal red, which meant that he was also a demon, and human pills were useless to him. Tang Yun took the pill, thanked him and fed it to him. Holy daughter, they are traitors of the Sage Pavilion. The people of the Sage Pavilion saw that she was actually helping Tang Yun and reminded her. I know, Sima Yue said. Then why are you still helping him? Before they could finish their words, they saw that the person they were familiar with had become another person, a person who was popular throughout the continent. Sima Yue. How could you be Sima Yue? The people from the Sage Pavilion were shocked. Aren't you the Holy Maiden? Qiu Qi and Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior happened to stop. When they saw Sima Yue, Qiu Qi's face darkened. Where's Han Yu? I caught him. Sima Yue said, Qiu Qi, your Sage Pavilion is finished. Why are you still resisting? Did you give Tang Yun the poison? Qiu Qi asked. That's right. You have no enmity with my Sage Pavilion, why do you want to deal with us? No enmity? Qiu Qi, don't you feel ashamed when you say that? Sima Yue laughed coldly. You put on a holy coat and did those heartless things. Do you still think that you are righteous? Don't joke around. Everyone in the world is not stupid. Exterminating the Shiman family and attacking the Sima family. Just these 2 points are enough to make me and the Sage Pavilion irreconcilable. What a great fight to the death. So you purposely lured Gu Qing to kill those people and exposed your weakness to others. From then on, you had already replaced Han Yu. Qiu Qi guessed. That's right. After I released those girls, I captured Zongjing Han Yu. From her memories, I knew about the relationship between the Sage Pavilion and the Black Robe people. That was why I went to find Gu Qing and returned to the Sage Pavilion. I also passed the news to the Guild Alliance and the Ancient Spirit Beasts. How could such a big meeting be done without the person involved? So, all of this is thanks to you. You are the mastermind behind the scenes. You are the one who destroyed the Sage Pavilion. Qiu Qi said. Suddenly he thought of something and stared at her. You are the woman in the prophecy. The female full attribute spirit master. Sima Yue did not deny it. After hiding it for so long, there was no need to hide it anymore. Wu Lingyu knew about your identity long ago, right? Qiu Qi said again. All these years, the Sage Pavilion spent so much effort to find the woman in the prophecy. He didn't even know how many people they killed. He didn't expect that she would still grow. If it wasn't for Wu Lingyu's cover, how could there be no news from the Sage Pavilion? Since you know that it is a prophecy, it cannot be changed. Even if you kill so many innocent girls, the result will still be the same. Sima Yue said. The prophecy said that the Sage Pavilion would be destroyed in the hands of a female full attribute spirit master. Because of this, the Sage Pavilion sent people to find the girl in the prophecy and killed many suspicious people. But they still couldn't find Sima Yue. Today, even if Qiu Qi didn't die, the Sage Pavilion couldn't be rebuilt. In this chaotic world, without the main pavilion, the branch pavilions wouldn't be able to hold on for long and wouldn't have their former glory. So, a prophecy was a prophecy and couldn't be changed. Qiu Qi was so angry that he laughed. Do you really think that you can kill me? Since you are pretending to be Han Yu, you should know that your attacks have no effect on me. So what if you are an ancient spirit beast? You still can't break through my defense. Speaking of this, Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's expression was ugly. His power was obviously higher than Qiu Qi's, but his attacks were all dissolved by Qiu Qi's shield. The damage done to him was minimal, but he used up a lot of his spirit energy. Isn't it just the power of belief? As long as you break it, do you think you can get out alive? Sima Yue laughed coldly. You know that this is the power of belief, but you still dare to speak so arrogantly. Even Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior can't do anything to me. So many of you working together is useless. What can you do? Ha! Qiu Qi laughed maniacally, launching a few attacks at the people below. Is what he said true? Sima Yue asked Tang Yun. He nodded. Our combined attack didn't even touch him at all. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior's attack also caused very little damage to him. His shield seems to be able to dissipate our attacks. He did say that the power of belief can dissipate our attacks. I didn't think that it would be so powerful. Sima Yue was also surprised, but he said it himself, it's not like he can't control it. You have a way. Tang Yun looked at her expectantly. If Qiu Qi wasn't eliminated today, there would be endless trouble in the future. If Sima Yue could break through his defense, they would be able to take his life today. Sima Yue was hesitant. It wasn't that she wasn't willing, but she wasn't confident. If she really did that, she wouldn't be able to control herself. President. A sharp cry attracted her attention. She raised her head and saw Xiachang Tian falling from the sky, and Qiu Qi chasing after him. This book came from. Chapter 1742. President. Sima Yue was shocked. Everyone else was lying on the ground, unable to move. She had no time to react. She leaped up and caught him, quickly dodging Qiu Qi's attack. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior came from the side and stopped Qiu Qi. However, he was unable to stop Qiu Qi's next attack. Be careful. Shen Xiu He teleported behind Sima Yue and helped her dissolve the spiritual energy. Shen Xiu He, which side are you on? Qiu Qi shouted. Shen Xiu He stood in front of Sima Yue. I don't care what agreement you made with my father, and I don't care how you deal with the others. But you can't kill Sima Yue. She's the one who ruined all our plans. Do you still want to protect her? Qiu Qi questioned. You can't kill me. Shen Xiu He stood in front of Sima Yue and refused to budge an inch. The men in black looked at him, not knowing if they should attack. Then I'll kill you as well. I believe that your father won't cut off our connection for you. Charge. Qiu Qi ordered the black-clothed man. He was filled with murderous intent and did not plan to let him off just because of his identity. Then let's see if you can kill me. Shen Xiu He took out his weapon. He was still very serious towards the black-clothed man. However, those black-clothed men did not attack directly. They still had some scruples towards Shen Xiu He. Sima Yue placed President Xia on the ground and the members of the Guild Alliance quickly surrounded him. She turned around and looked at Shen Xiu He's back. A trace of warmth flowed through her eyes. Thank you, Crane. Shen Xiu He turned and saw the smile on Sima Yue's face. It was so warm and pure. She didn't blame him, nor did she despise him. She even believed in him. At this moment, he felt that this was the best reward he had ever received. Take them and leave. I can hold them off for a while, he said. She could pass through the barrier, so it was not difficult for her to leave. However, Sima Yue shook her head. She looked up at the rampant Qiu Qi and the increasingly tired Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. She muttered, there's no other way, leave. I'll think of a way to deal with him. Shen Xiu He saw her determined gaze and suddenly felt uneasy. He wanted her to leave quickly. Do you have a way? Sima Yue asked. Calm, there will be. Then there's none. Sima Yue said, it seems like this is the only way. Shen Xiu He grabbed to Sima Yue Sima. To break, to defend, no matter how many people's to uses to Yues to be to protect to be there's no to no Sima Yues. To repay to me to s to be to die. I can't just watch them die. But you can't beat him. Shen Xiu He frowned. I have a way. Sima Yue said, if I can break his defense, you can't let him escape. It's nice to meet you. Sima Yue smiled at him. She pulled her hand out of his grasp. Yue. The uneasiness in Shen Xiu He's heart grew, but Sima Yue had already flown into the air. Her body emitted a holy light. This is... Qiu Qi's eyes widened in disbelief. How is this possible? Everyone else was stunned when they saw Sima Yue. That light made Sima Yue look extremely holy. Their irritable, anxious, worried and uneasy hearts all calmed down. Even their souls were elevated. This is the power of holiness. Xiachang Tian and the rest looked at Sima Yue in a daze. I didn't expect her to have such power. Sima Yue gathered the power of faith in her hand. She smiled at Qiu Qi proudly, then attacked the enchantment. That barrier was originally set up by Qiuqi using the power of faith. Now that it encountered the power of faith that contained the way of the heavens, it was completely restrained. With just one strike, the barrier that made everyone helpless instantly collapsed. At this moment, the people outside could see the situation inside clearly. That power? Everyone could feel that Sima Yue was different, but they quickly reacted. Brother? Hong Wei ran to Tang Yun and the rest. Are you guys okay? We're fine. How are you? Tang Yun saw that there was a lot of blood on her body and thought that she was injured. I'm fine too. This is other people's blood. Hong Wei said, how was this enchantment opened? Yue opened it. Tang Yun looked at Sima Yue. He was not as relaxed as the others. Yue opened it? Hong Wei was surprised. Since she could open the enchantment, why didn't she do it just now? How is that possible? How can you have the power of faith? Qiuqi was shocked. Her power of faith was born from the heavens. It contained the power of the heavens. It was the only power in the world that could restrain him. True faith is not something that you guys intentionally obtain. Sima Yue said, you guys have done so much, but how many people actually acknowledge you? You can only get so much just to numb the ordinary believers. Fresh blood flowed down from the corner of her mouth. She felt that her body was in turmoil. She tried her best to suppress the chaotic power, wanting to hold on for a while longer. Yue. Xianqiu, he kept looking at her. He could tell that she was not feeling well at all. That pale face, that frown, the blood at the corner of her mouth, all of these stimulated his nerves. It's because there are too many people like you that the world has become so chaotic. Let's start with you. With that, she used all of her power to release the power of faith. The vast power made the entire sacred city quiet down. Then it spread outwards, allowing those who were watching the show to feel their souls being cleansed. Let's start from the very beginning with you. Her voice entered everyone's hearts along with the power of faith. It shocked those fanatical and numb hearts. Pop, Qiuqi's defensive layer was broken by Sima Yue's power of faith. It turned into spots of light and disappeared into the air. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior, I'll leave the rest to you. Sima Yue spat out a mouthful of blood. Thousand Resonance and Little Roar, who were fused with her, were ejected. She lost all of her power. Her entire body fell down like a broken doll. Waves of white light shot out from her body, blinding everyone's eyes. Everyone was stunned by this turn of events. She was still smiling at everyone in a holy manner just now. In the blink of an eye, she became like this. As cultivators, they all understood that the spiritual power in her body was out of control. Her body was about to explode. Dark Qi, Light Qi. She has both black and white powers in her body. She can't control those powers. Xianqiu, he quickly flew up, wanting to catch Sima Yue. However, before he could get close, he was sent flying by the power of Sima Yue's explosion. Yue, Vice Alliance Leader. Chapter 1743. Standing outside the library pavilion, she raised her head and looked at the three flamboyant words on the door plaque. For a moment, she could not distinguish reality from her memories. Standing outside the library, she raised her head to look at the three flamboyant words on the door plaque. For a moment, she could not distinguish reality from her memory. When she first stepped into the library pavilion, she was also a good-for-nothing who could not cultivate. The first time she stepped into the library pavilion, she was also a good-for-nothing who could not cultivate. Now she had to start all over again. However, this time was different. She had the power bestowed by the elder ancestor. As long as her soul cultivation increased, she could open the seal layer by layer and truly accept the elder ancestor's power. Miss, you have never been to the library pavilion before. What kind of books do you want to read? Ting Shan reminded her when he saw her staring blankly at the door plaque. Sima Yue came back to her senses and said, where are the books on cultivation methods? On the second floor. The first floor is filled with books on various aspects. The second floor is about cultivation, and the third and above are about spiritual techniques. Then I'll go take a look on the second floor. You can wait for me here. Sima Yue instructed Ting Shan. Ting Shan remembered Murong Jun's order to treat Sima Yue like how he treated his previous Mississippi. Therefore, she obediently stayed on the first floor. After Sima Yue went up, she saw a few books on cultivation on the outer shelves, but they were basically about the cultivation of ghost qi. As for the cultivation of the soul, it was only mentioned once or twice. Finally, she saw a thin, tattered book on the edge of the shelf. There's only such a tattered book. She took the book down, a little disappointed. You're looking for the cultivation method of a soul body. An old voice rang out beside her, giving her a huge fright. Who's that? She looked around and felt a breathing sound behind her. She quickly turned around and saw a short and small old man looking at her with his hands behind his back. Hello, may I ask who you are? I'm just a cleaner. The little old man said, Are you looking for the cultivation method of the soul? I'm just looking around. Sima Yue pretended not to care. It's good to cultivate soul power. Unfortunately, the good cultivation method of soul power is about to be lost. The little old man said, However, for a soul like you, this is the only thing you can cultivate now. Sima Yue was shocked. How did you know? That she was a soul? This little old man has good eyesight, the little old man said with a smile. Sima Yue became alert. She remembered that the elder ancestor had said that when he helped her condense a body, ordinary people would not be able to tell that she was a soul. However, this old man was able to discover it with just a glance. How powerful was he? I wonder if Mir can deal with him? The little old man saw that her expression only changed slightly. He stroked his beard and said with a smile, You don't have to worry. This little old man won't do anything to you. Then why did you expose me? I'm just curious. How did you condense a body? Looking at you, you haven't even started cultivating as a soul, have you? The little old man's smile made him look friendly. Before I came to the world of spirits and souls, one of my elder ancestors helped me condense a body, Sima Yue said. She said this to tell him that she also had a very powerful elder ancestor. Secondly, it was to tell him that her elder ancestor was not from the world of spirits and souls, so he should not ask who he was. The little old man understood what she meant and did not continue to ask. He walked to the innermost bookshelf, squatted down and rummaged for a while. Then he took out a book and handed it to Sima Yue. This book is much better than the one you have in your hand. Sima Yue took the book. It was a thick book. Although some corners were missing, there were no missing words or pages. It was indeed much better than the one in her hand. Thank you. She smiled at him and said gratefully. Being a soul cultivator is much harder than being a ghost cultivator. Little girl, the road ahead is going to be difficult. The little old man sighed and left the second floor. Sima Yue looked at his back and clenched the book in her hand. She naturally did not believe that he was a janitor. He must be a very powerful senior in the Morong family. However, he came out to expose her and find a book for her. What was his purpose? Curiosity was not a valid reason. Whatever, if he really wanted to harm her, with Mill around, even if he could not turn the world upside down, it would not be a problem for her to leave. She put the two books away, turned around and went downstairs. Seeing Ting Shan standing outside the library, she asked, Is there a skinny old man who cleans the library? A skinny old man? There isn't. The library has always been cleaned by a maid. Ting Shan replied. Let's go back. Sima Yue was not surprised. It seemed that her guess was right. When they returned to the courtyard, she shut Ting Shan and Ting Shui outside and told them that she was going into closed-door cultivation and that no one was allowed to disturb them. If anyone came in, she would sell them to a brothel. She did not have any spiritual power now, so she could not set up a barrier. She could only rely on external forces. Ting Shan and Ting Shui knew that Morong she had sold a maid in the past, and they heard that the maid ended up in a miserable state. Now that they heard this, both of them became 120% vigilant. They were determined not to let any Tom, Dick or Harry in. Therefore, when Gongzi Yuan came, he was mercilessly blocked outside by the two of them. Cultivation? Can she cultivate? Isn't she a wastrel like she Gongzi Yuan muttered as he left. If Sima Yue knew about this, she would definitely roll her eyes at him. Who said that she was a wastrel and could not cultivate? She hadn't even started cultivating yet. Okay. She first flipped open the old and thin book. As expected, there were no cultivation methods in it. In the words of the little old man, it was not very useful. She flipped through the book roughly. It was just an introduction to soul cultivators. Soul cultivators referred to those who died in other realms. Their souls would enter the ghost realm and start cultivating again. Soul cultivators were very weak in the beginning, so it was hard for them to survive. Ghost cultivators referred to those ghost clans who cultivated ghost energy. When Sima Yue was alive, she was also considered a ghost cultivator. Ghost cultivators were much more powerful than soul cultivators. This was because ghost cultivators could form contracts with nether beasts. They could become soul cultivators at the same time as ghost cultivators. Other than ghost energy, they could also use the power of the soul in battle. Moreover, some ghost cultivators cultivated the nether skills to suppress soul cultivators. They could even control soul cultivators as their slaves and subordinates. Therefore, there were fewer soul cultivators in the ghost realm. However, once they grew up, they would be very powerful. They could dominate a part of the ghost realm. Because there were many powerful soul cultivators, the ghost cultivators chose to kill soul cultivators in the cradle. In recent years, there were even fewer soul cultivators. However, there was an exception. It was the Soul Society. The elder ancestor had said that at the foot of the Nine Spirits Mountain, when the ink lotus bloomed, the three domains of the ghost realm would not dare to disobey. These three domains referred to the ghost realm, the Soul Society, and the infernal hell. The Soul Society was the domain where soul cultivators lived. It was on par with the ghost realm and the infernal hell. It was enough to show its status and power. Chapter 1744. Master Lin, are you here to save Sima Yue? Can Yue come back to life? Can he still be saved? Xia Changtian asked. Don't worry, it's not over yet. Lin's voice had a calming effect. With his words, everyone's hearts calmed down. Wu Lingyu looked at Lin. What ideas do you have? It wasn't me. Lin shook his head. It was the Phoenix Master. Feng Ruyen stepped forward and took out a jade bottle. She poured the emerald green liquid into Sima Yue's mouth. Then she hugged Sima Yue's body and injected her spiritual energy into her body. She guided the energy into her internal organs and meridians. After a while, the paleness on Sima Yue's face began to dissipate, and color returned to her face. A few minutes later, everyone could feel her life force again. He's alive. She's alive. Xia Changtian and the rest cried out. Sima Yue really came back to life. On the other hand, Little Roar and Thousand Resonance's life force also stopped flowing. The two of them turned into a silver light and returned to Sima Yue's body. Sima Yue's eyes moved, but she did not wake up. Yue. Feng Ruyen stood up from the ground and said to the people who were calling her, You don't have to call her. She won't wake up. What? Didn't she come back to life? Hong Wei asked. Her soul has already left her body. Without her soul, she is unable to wake up. Feng Ruyen explained. Where is her soul? I'll go after him. Has he already gone to the ghost realm? Wu Lingyu said. No. Lin shook his head. I can't divine her soul, so I'm guessing that she hasn't gone to the ghost realm yet. He didn't know where her soul was. If he couldn't find her, she wouldn't wake up. Tang Yun, instruct the people of the devil realm to put everything aside and head to the ghost realm to search for Yue's soul. We must find her. Wu Lingyu ordered. My lord, what's the current situation in the demon realm? Tang Yun subconsciously wanted to stop her, but Wu Lingyu glared at him, causing him to swallow his words. You don't have to worry, everything has its own destiny. Lin said, although I don't know where she is now, she will go to the ghost realm in the future. However, even if you send people, they won't be able to find her. They have no fate with her. I must find her. Wu Lingyu said. When it's time for her to return, she will naturally return. Otherwise, it would be meaningless for us to save her breast. Lin consoled. She's coming back? What happened today is her tribulation and also her destiny. She was destined to go to the ghost realm. You just need to protect her body well and don't let her last breath go. Then just wait. She will come back one day. Lin said. Hearing him say that, Wu Lingyu's emotions finally stabilized. He bowed deeply to Feng Ruyen and Lin. I will never forget the favor of saving my life. I didn't do anything. Lin said, that thing was found by Feng Ruyen. And Feng, thank you. Although Wu Lingyu didn't know what she gave Yue to eat for her to come back to life, it must be something extraordinary. Lin told me to prepare it. Feng Ruyen said lightly, if there's anything you need, just tell the Feng people directly. Okay. Wu Lingyu didn't reject. To ensure that Sima Yue didn't die, they would need to spend a lot of medicinal ingredients. Spending was secondary, the most important thing was that some treasures were hard to find. With the Feng people, everything would be much easier. Shen Qiu he had been silent ever since Wu Lingyu appeared. From hope to disappointment and then to hope. He felt that in less than an hour, he had walked back and forth between heaven and hell. Just when everyone was happy, he saw someone moving outside, trying to escape when no one was paying attention. Where do you think you're going? He appeared and blocked Qiu Qi's path. Shen Qiu he, if you don't want to lose your life, don't be so flamboyant. Xiao Qi looked at Xian Xiuhe. If he attracted their attention, it would be hard for him to escape. Yue said that I must keep you here today. She paid such a huge price for this, so you must leave your life here today. Xian Xiuhe said as he attacked. The commotion here immediately attracted the attention of others. Father, Yu said that we can't let him go. Little Lucky jumped onto Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior and pulled his hair. It's all because of him that Yu died. Kill him. Kill him. Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior stood up and thought about the scene of Sima Yue dying. It overlapped with the scene in his memory. Those who hurt her deserve to die. He grabbed Little Lucky and threw him aside. His body returned to his beast form and kept growing. His aura kept rising. Berserk. Not everyone present knew about it, but someone would tell them. This is a skill of spirit beasts. When they go berserk, they will lose their rationality. However, their battle power will increase by a lot and can reach twice their usual strength. The president of the Beast Tamer Guild said, with his strength, if he goes berserk, Xiao Qi will not be able to escape today. The result of the battle was not suspenseful. Xiao Qi did not even last 30 moves under Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. Wu Lingyu saw his soul. Before entering the ghost realm, he sucked his soul over and condensed a dark flame to refine his soul. In the end, he did not even have the chance to turn into ashes. Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue and said to Feng Ruyen, I'll send her back. The Sima family must be in a mess now. I'll go with you. There are some things that I need to tell them. Feng Ruyen said. Okay. Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue. Feng Ruyen, Yin Lin and Little Helper disappeared from their original spot. Those people did not even feel any movement. So powerful. Of course he's powerful. That's the Supreme Lord of the God Clan. Xia Chang Tian said, okay, let's settle the matters here first. Then let's go and see if there's anything we can help with. The Sima family. Just as Wu Lingyu said, after seeing Sima Yue's life tablet shatter, the whole family was shocked. How did she die? How could she die? Everyone could not sit still and requested to go and find her. But it would take a long time to reach Sacred City. Even if they rushed over, it would be too late. Just as the whole family was in grief and panic, Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue back. Seeing the lifeless person in his arms, the Sima family's eyes turned red. Everyone covered their mouths, not daring to cry out loud. Lingyu Yue, she's still alive. Wu Lingyu's words made the Sima family quiet down. As long as she was alive, there was hope. What exactly is going on? Sima Jiyuan asked, why did Yue's life tablet shatter? We'll talk about this later. We still have things to do now. Wu Lingyu said as he carried Sima Yue and flew towards the back mountain of the Sima family. Chapter 1745. Wu Lingyu carried Sima Yue to the back of the mountain. Sima Qing looked at him and asked, what can we do? Prepare a large and spacious stone room. I'll talk about the rest later. Wu Lingyu said. Let's use the stone room where I'm in seclusion. The spiritual energy there is the best. Sima Qing said. Wu Lingyu knew about his stone room. It was indeed the best place for the Sima family. He carried Sima Yue and flew towards the mountain. When Sima Jiyuan, Sima Xiuqi and the others arrived, they saw Sima Yue lying on the jade bed weakly. Wu Lingyu seemed to be arranging something around the jade bed. Yin Lin and Feng Ruyen were giving pointers at the side. Phoenix Master Lord Yin Lin, how is Yue? Huang Yingying asked. It's still considered stable. Yin Lin said, however, we can't leave this place in the future. I'll personally guard it. Sima Qing said. In any case, this was where he cultivated, so he felt a little more at ease if he guarded her here. How did Yue suffer such serious injuries? Sima Hishun asked. We don't know the specifics either. Someone will explain it to you later. Yin Lin said. Can Yue get better? When will she wake up? She won't wake up for the time being. Yin Lin told them about her soul leaving her body and said, what you need to do is to protect her physical body. Make sure that her physical body is in good condition before her soul returns. Don't let it continue to deteriorate. What do we need to do? Sima Hishun asked. This jade bed was dug out from the bottom of the ice field. Only one like this can be found every tens of thousands of years. The cold air and spiritual energy on it will protect her body. The array that Wu Lingyu had set up now could attract the surrounding spiritual energy, which would also be beneficial to her body. In addition, give her this pill once every half a month. Yin Lin took out a pill formula and handed it to Sima Hishun. Sima Hishun looked at the herbs on the list. They weren't considered expensive, but they were all very rare. It wouldn't be a problem for a short period of time, but if it took a long time, it would be difficult to find them. You don't have to worry about the herbs. As long as you spread the news, there will naturally be people who will send the herbs over. Lin said. You don't have to worry about that. All right. I'll have someone send the herbs over, Wu Lingyu said. This was the first thing he said after everyone arrived. Where are you going? Feng Ruyen asked. Let's go back to the Devil Realm and settle the important matters. Then we'll go to the Ghost Realm to look for her. Wu Lingyu said. If you go to the Ghost Realm like this, you won't be able to find her. Lin said. Then what should we do? Lin closed his eyes and calculated. After a while, he opened his eyes and said, We meet again at the banks of the River of Forgetfulness. But as you know, only souls can go to the River of Forgetfulness. If you want to go to the Ghost Realm, you can only go with your soul. However, if you forcefully extract your soul, your strength will also be damaged. I understand. Thank you for telling me, Wu Lingyu said gratefully. You don't have to thank me. I'm very happy that the last lot is between you and her. Lin smiled. Last lot? This body of mine, it's all thanks to Yue that I'm able to hold on until now. Now, I'm already at the end of my life and don't have much time left. I won't be telling anyone else's fortune in the future. So this is my last fortune. Lin's words made the atmosphere in the stone room heavy, but he didn't care about it. Everyone dies, there's nothing to be sad about. Lin said. Master. Little Helper pursed his lips. We'll go to the Ghost Realm to look for you. Divinator doesn't have a soul after he dies. He can't return and can't go to the Ghost Realm. When he dies, his soul disperses. You don't have to worry about him anymore. Lin smiled. Feng Master, we can go back now. Divinator's sect master had always wanted to pass away in the sect. Relying on him and Little Helper, they couldn't rush back. Feng Ruyen nodded and told Sima Zhiyuan and the others to look for the Feng people. Then she left with Lin and Little Helper. In the future, I'll need the Sima family to take care of divination and Little Helper. Lin's voice disappeared along with his figure. This sentence became the last sentence he said to outsiders. I didn't expect Master Lin. Sigh. Feng Ruyen sent Lin and Little Helper back to the divination and left. Little Helper looked at Lin's thin figure and said, Master, shouldn't you have 100 years of life left? Why? He also noticed that Lin's life was decreasing rapidly. In just a few years, he had used up 100 years of his life. Come with me. Lin brought Little Helper to the divination's forbidden area. Behind the short tunnel was a huge stone room. Inside, the memorial tablets of the past sect masters were enshrined. Lin came in front of the memorial tablets and said, Little Helper, kneel down. Kowtow to the past sect masters. Little Helper came to the praying mat and knelt down. He kowtowed 3 times. Little Helper, your talent far surpasses mine. In the future, your achievements will definitely surpass mine. When you met Sima Yue when you were young, your fate changed. In the future, you won't follow in the footsteps of your master and the past sect masters. You must cherish the gift given to you by the heavens. You must benefit more people. This disciple will remember Master's teachings. Little Helper replied. Today I will pass the position of sect master to you. You must take on the responsibility of divination. Protect the people of the sect. You must shoulder the heavy responsibility and cannot slack off. Do you understand? Master. Little Helper didn't expect Lin to pass the position of sect master to him. He was still so inexperienced. How could he convince the others? They all understand. Lin wasn't worried. As divinators, they knew that they had no fate with the position of sect master. Master, you still have a long time. You don't have to, whatever Master says, just accept it. Lin's voice became strict. Yes, Master. I am willing to become the sect master of divination. I will protect the people of the sect and benefit mankind. Little Helper had a bad premonition. His tears couldn't stop falling. Lin took off the ring that symbolized the position of sect master and gave it to Little Helper. Then he went to the high platform in the middle of the stone room and sat down. Master. Little Helper knelt down and held onto the high platform. He cried his eyes out. He knew this stone platform. The sect masters breathed their last on this platform. Lin wanted to go up now. Didn't that mean that he was already? Lin looked at him and sighed. How can Master be at ease when you are like this? Master, what about your lifespan? You still have so much time. You don't have to go up so quickly. You will understand in a while. In the future you must be well. Lin reached out and patted little helper's head. Then he retracted his hand and placed his hands on his knees. He slowly closed his eyes and stopped breathing. Master. Little helper pounced onto the stone platform and hugged Lin's body as he cried loudly. The moment he hugged Lin's body, a white light shot out from Lin's body and entered little helper's body. Chapter 1746. After the silver light entered little helper's body, he immediately sensed it. He was stunned for a moment before crying even harder. In addition to the grief and reluctance from before, there was also a trace of self-blame in the crying. This is... Sect Master. Sovereign, why are you leaving just like that? Sect Master. A group of people came in from outside. When they saw Lang sitting on the stone platform, they all ran over and knelt down. The stone room was filled with the cries of everyone. Inform everyone that the sect master has passed away. Great Elder said. Immediately, someone left the stone room. Everyone cried for a while, venting some of the grief in their hearts. The Great Elder looked at the child who was crying uncontrollably and asked, "Shouldn't the sect master still have a few more years to live? Why did he suddenly leave?" The child cried even harder. He couldn't even finish a complete sentence. Master? Master did it because of me, because of me. How could this be? Everyone was shocked. They didn't have any premonition that something had happened to little Tong. Master divined that I would face a great calamity, so he used the rest of his lifespan to change my fate. After saying this, the child lay on Lin's lap, crying so hard that he was about to twitch. Yue, whom he liked, had become a zombie. She had just returned and her master had died. Moreover, he had died for the sake of changing his fate. At this moment he didn't know how to describe his heart. He only felt pain. The first elder and the others were stunned when they heard this. They didn't expect that Lin would actually give up his life to change the child's fate. But what could they do? Was he going to blame Xiao Tong? No, this was Lin's own decision. Seeing the thumb ring on his hand, he said, "The sect master has passed the thumb ring to you. You are the new sect master of divination. You have to pull yourself together to be worthy of your master's sacrifice." Xiao Tong nodded. "We will support you in the future. Now you have to pull yourself together and take care of the sect master's funeral." "I understand, Grand Elder." The child came down from the stone platform and wiped away the tears on his face. Just as he wiped away the tears on the left side, the tears on the right side flowed out again. When the Great Elder and the others saw him like this, they patted him on the shoulder. "You stay here and accompany the sect leader first. We'll go out and take care of other things." "Thank you, Grand Elder," the child said gratefully. With his current state of mind, it was really not suitable for him to go out and face everyone. Great Elder and the others all went out. Little Helper looked at Lin's sleeping face, and tears once again flowed out of his eyes. "Master," very quickly the news of Lin's death spread throughout the entire continent. The people in the interior were all shocked. She was fine when she was in the holy city. How could she have passed away in just a few days? No matter what the reason was, everyone felt that Lin's death was a great loss to humanity. However, when they found out that Xiao Tong's talent was even better than Lin's, hope was ignited in everyone's heart. There was an endless stream of people going to the divination center to offer their condolences. However, no one could enter the door of divination because Lin had already been laid to rest and should not be disturbed. After entertaining the guests for a while, they all left their gifts and went back. When the Sima family received the news, they were entertaining Xiachang Tian and the others. From Xiachang Tian and the others, they finally found out what happened to Sima Yue that day. After finding out that Lin and the others had saved the dead Sima Yue, and then hearing the news of his death, they remembered that the divination he had done for Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu in the stone room was his last one. They were deeply moved. "Get someone to prepare a generous gift, we will go and offer our condolences personally," Sima Zhiyuan said. "We will go with you," Xiachang Tian said. They came here to tell the Sima clan about what happened that day. Another reason was to see if there was anything they could do. Now that they had obtained the pill formula, they would have to bear the main responsibility of searching for the medicinal ingredients. Very quickly they went to the divination center together, and became the only ones who were invited through the door. Pain? A ray of light finally shot through the endless darkness, as if the clear stream that day had cut through the chaos, and the heavens and earth were clear. Wasn't she dead? How could she still feel pain? Her consciousness slowly returned, and her body's senses slowly recovered. Finally, her eyes that had been closed for a long time slowly opened. It was still darkness. Where am I? Ghost realm? She remembered what happened that day in Saint City. Her body still exploded, and before her consciousness completely disappeared, she seemed to have seen Wu Lingyu. Could it be that he saved her? How could it be? My body exploded. I was already dead when he appeared. How could he save me? She mocked herself, but then she was stunned. She died, and her soul would enter the ghost realm. But this kind of soul had no memories, and everything would start from scratch. But why did she remember what happened when she was alive? She moved her hand and waved it in front of her. It was indeed transparent, and this was really her soul. But why did it preserve her memories? You're finally awake. A voice rang in her ear, and she sat up in shock. This because she used too much strength. She felt her entire soul was in pain. Your soul was injured in the explosion. Although you've recuperated for 2 years, it's still not very stable. That voice rang again. It's you? Sima Yue remembered this voice, a voice that she had only heard once but would never forget. She looked at the dark surroundings and asked, I'm in the Yilin continent? You still remember me? Yes, you're the person suppressed under Dragon Reflection Mountain, right? You're the one who saved me? Yes and no. That voice replied, if you hadn't consumed the essence of the Tree of Souls beforehand, your soul would have already dissipated when your body exploded. I've only nurtured your soul for 2 years. 2 years? It's already been 2 years? She muttered, I wonder what they'll do when they know about my death. She stood up and bowed towards the direction of the voice and said gratefully, thank you for saving my life. How should I address you? You can just call me Ancestor. Ancestor? Are you my ancestor? Sima Yue asked curiously. She had always felt that when she was under Dragon Reflection Mountain, although she didn't see clearly who was in the black fog, she felt that he was somewhat familiar. But the words he said to her back then were somewhat strange, and made her guess that there was a connection between them. Yes. Ancestor replied. Ancestor, when you saw my body explode, am I already dead? Why can I still remember what happened when I was alive? Sima Yue asked. Your body was originally dead, but it was saved by someone who changed your fate. Now you're still hanging on by a breath, so you're not really dead. Naturally, you're not a pure ghost, and can only be considered as a soul that has left your body, so you can naturally remember what happened when you were alive. Then how did I get here? Chapter 1747. How did you get here? Of course, I was the one who brought you here, the ancestor said. You brought me here? How is this possible? She whispered, you were suppressed here and your strength was sealed. How could you know that I was in trouble and bring my soul here? The black fog that shrouded her body slowly dissipated, and only then did she see clearly that she was standing where she had been standing all those years ago. As for her ancestor, he was still shrouded in the black fog, so she couldn't see his face clearly. When you came here, I did something to your body. You have ghost chi in your body to begin with, so you naturally wouldn't be able to discover my clone, said the patriarch. Could it be that you already knew back then that I would face this calamity today? Sima Yue could not hide the astonishment in her heart. If that was really the case, how powerful was he to be able to foresee this so early? The old ancestor was silent and didn't reply. If he couldn't even calculate such a small matter, then wouldn't he have lived for so many years in vain? Ancestor, are you really my ancestor? Is it the Ghost Clan's royal family? Sima Yue asked again, why didn't the Ghost King send anyone to save you? The royal family of the Ghost Clan? The ancestor's voice was filled with contempt. He did not care about the Ghost Clan's royal family at all. The true king of the Ghost Clan is not chosen by those people, but born with the bloodline. At the foot of the 9th Underworld Mountain, the Black Lotus blooms. No one in the 3 regions of the Ghost Realm dares to disobey. Sima Yue's heart jolted as she recalled Zhu Maoyan on her back. At the foot of the 9th Underworld Mountain, the Black Lotus blooms. No one in the 3 regions of the Ghost Realm dares to disobey. She repeated this sentence as if she saw the scene of all living beings submitting to her. That's right. The real royal family was the 9 Underworlds tribe at the foot of the 9 Underworlds mountain. We have existed since the formation of the world, and we are truly on par with the heavens. The ancestors' words carried an innate arrogance, which belonged to the noble bloodline of the Black Lotus clan. Then why are you being suppressed here? Who was it that suppressed you here? Although the 9 Nether clan is powerful, there are very few people who have the talent and bloodline of their ancestors. The Nine Nether clan is slowly declining. Later on they chose to live in seclusion, and the ghost race elected a ghost king. Later on very few people knew about us. However, our bloodline is still the noblest, and we can suppress all the ghosts. The patriarch's words were a little lonely, however, our bloodline is still the most noble, and we can suppress all the ghosts. The Nine Underworlds tribe. Sima Yue murmured. Her heart was filled with pride. She suddenly wanted to take a look at the Nine Underworlds mountain. As a descendant of the Nine Underworlds clan, you will naturally know the glory of our clan in the future. The glory of our clan in the future will be created by you, said the old ancestor. Patriarch. The Ninth Nether clan has been silent for too long. It's time for us to come out. The ancestor said, after you reach the ghost realm, you will be the clan leader of the Ninth Nether clan. You have to lead your clansmen to glory again, drive out all those arrogant fellows, and let them know who is the real king of the ghost realm. Sima Yue's lips twitched. Although his words were bold, it seemed a little unrealistic. Patriarch, I don't have any strength now. She reminded, and I have to return to my body. I can't go to the ghost realm. Now that she had been delayed for 2 years, those people must be worried sick. She had to go back as soon as possible. Your soul has already left your physical body. You can't go back. The ancestor poured cold water on her. You can only go to the ghost realm now. What? How is that possible? Sima Yue was shocked. If she couldn't go back, then wouldn't she never see her family and friends in the human world again? Your soul is too weak. You can't go back to your physical body. Unless you can cultivate to the level of Ghost King, then your soul can guarantee that it won't dissipate when it enters your body. The ancestor said, so you only have one path now, which is to go to the ghost realm and become a ghost cultivator. Don't you still want to go to the ghost realm to save your mother? Are you thinking of giving up? It's not that I want to give up, but in my current state, I don't even have the strength to truss a chicken. If I go to the ghost realm, I'm afraid I won't live for more than 2 days. Sima Yue was helpless. I want to save my mother, but in my current state, I don't know how long it will take. If she returned to her physical body, she would still have her own strength. But now she had nothing except for her soul. If she had to cultivate from the beginning, by the time she had the strength to save her mother, it would be too late. You don't have to worry about this. You won't die so easily. The ancestor said. Sima Yue, she sighed. Since she didn't have a choice, what else could she do? She could only bite the bullet and walk on. Everything has its own plan. The ancestor said, so you don't have to worry and there's nothing to be troubled about. Yes, Yue understands. Sima Yue replied. The storm is coming. We don't have much time left. The ancestor sighed. Ancestor. Sima Yue didn't know why he suddenly sighed. Is there anything I can do for you? I do have something for you to do now. The ancestor said, come to my side. Sima Yue walked over. The black fog slowly shrunk. She then realized that there was a black array on the ground. Stand in the southwest direction. The ancestor said. Sima Yue hesitated for a second before walking over. If he wanted to do something bad to her, he wouldn't have to spend 2 years to save her. Ancestor, maybe I can think of a way to break this array, she said. No need. Just do as I say. The ancestor said. Sima Yue pursed her lips and stood according to his instructions. Then she felt her surroundings become blurry. She seemed to be in an empty space and a warm current enveloped her. Then there seemed to be some kind of power drilling into her body. Ancestor, she called out in a panic. Just accept it. The ancestor's voice rang out around her, calming her flustered heart down quite a bit. Ancestor, what are you doing? Yue, remember this. There are only 2 kinds of powerful forces in this world. One is the power of faith that destroyed you, and the other is the power of the netherworld that I am giving you. When these 2 forces are combined, it will be a force that can destroy the world. The ancestor said, and the power of the netherworld is something that we, the Jianghu clan, have a natural advantage over. Ancestor, are you giving me your power of the netherworld? No, I can save you. No, it's useless. From the moment I stepped into this place, I have no chance of leaving. I have been waiting for you to appear. I have been waiting for this moment. Why? Everything is predestined in the unseen world. There are some things that only you can do and are waiting for you to do them. Remember what I said to you before. Sima Yue's consciousness was slowly dissipating, but she remembered that the ancestor said a lot of things to her. When she completely fell into darkness, she felt that her body was about to explode. Chapter 1748. Male. When she woke up again, she was no longer in the cave. Recalling what had happened before she fainted, a trace of sadness flashed through her eyes. Patriarch? She closed her eyes, remembering what he had done, and said to her, Patriarch, don't worry. I won't disappoint you. She clenched her fists. Her heart ached when she thought of the scene where the ancestor had poured all of his power into her body and dissipated. I've given you all of my power, but your soul power is still too weak. You can't bear it. That's why I sealed it. When your power grows, it will naturally be unsealed. Also, I'll condense a body for you. Others won't be able to tell that you're a soul for now, and you won't be summoned by the ghost clan. When you have cultivated your own body in the future, you can return to your body. The patriarch's words were injected into her mind when she was in a state of confusion. She woke up a little in the middle, but what she saw was that all the black fog was injected into her body, and the patriarch disappeared. Patriarch, creak. The door was pushed open and two maidservants entered. When they saw Sima Yue, they quickly knelt down and said, Young miss, you're finally awake. Sima Yue looked at the two maidservants in confusion. Who are you? Miss, this servant is Tingshan Tingshui. Don't you remember me? Tingshan Tingshui? Sima Yue's lips twitched. Such elegant names did not match the two ghastly people on the ground. Miss, don't you remember us? The two maidservants looked at Sima Yue cautiously, as if they were afraid that she would suddenly hit them. Where is this? Why are you calling me miss? As she spoke, she looked around. It was an extremely luxurious room. The walls were hung with paintings pieced together with various spirit stones. The furnishings were also all kinds of expensive things. It was obvious that the person who lived in this room was someone who knew how to enjoy life. Miss, this is your boudoir. Don't you remember? Ting Shan said in surprise. Then she said to Ting Shui, Quickly go and report to master that Miss is awake. Ting Shui ran out and soon came in with a group of people. The leader was a young man with a full beard, followed by a group of women. When the man saw Sima Yue, he excitedly ran over and hugged her, howling, My daughter! Daughter, you're finally awake. Father was worried to death. Sima Yue smelled a faint fragrance on his body. He was not as sloppy as he looked. Being hugged tightly, she felt as if she couldn't breathe, but she recalled a scene. It was when he had just arrived in the ghost realm. He was in a daze and didn't know where he was. Then he found that there were many underworld beasts surrounding a veiled woman. The woman angrily used the nether artifact to kill those nether beasts, and then said something about wanting to kill her. Then, what happened after that? It seemed like a group of people had come and surrounded her and that woman. They fled together, but in the end she still used up her underworld artifact and was heavily injured by those people. Then she and the woman fell off the cliff together. At that time she also scolded. She encountered these as soon as she arrived in the ghost realm. She really is a person who can't live for more than 2 days. Because she hadn't digested the old ancestor's spiritual power, her consciousness had been a little unclear. She didn't expect that she would wake up completely here. Daughter, it's all because father didn't protect you well and let you suffer such heavy injuries. I've killed those who chased you so you can rest assured. The man cried and howled, but it made Sima Yue guess that she had been mistaken for that woman. She struggled out of the man's arms and said, You're mistaken. I'm not your daughter. How is that possible? How could father recognize the wrong person? It's true. Although I'm very grateful to you for saving my life, I don't know you. I'm not your daughter. She didn't want to deceive others. After the man heard her words, he held her face and looked at it. He then grabbed her hand and checked it. Then he said with certainty, It's still like this. There's still only a little bit of spiritual power. If you're not my daughter, who are you? Daughter, I heard from the doctor that you injured your brain when you fell off the cliff. It's very likely that you'll lose your memory. Could it be that you've lost your memory? Don't you remember father? Sima Yue pursed her lips. She remembered that the woman had always been using a one-time use underworld weapon. It was very powerful but did not require much spiritual power. Could it be that she couldn't cultivate? I just happened to fall off the cliff with your daughter. You're mistaken. Impossible. You're my daughter. Doctor, quickly take a look at my daughter and see if she's all right. Master, young miss might have temporarily lost her memory. You don't have to worry. Ying and Yen Yen comforted him. An old man stepped forward and grabbed Sima Yu's hand to examine it. Then he looked at her eyes and so on. After that, he said to the man, Master, eldest young miss has indeed suffered from amnesia. She can't remember the past. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. Although she was injured, her brain was still fine. How could she have amnesia? What a quack. However, the man trusted him and asked, "Then when will she recover?" "This depends on young Mrs. Recovery." The doctor was not sure. Sima Yue resisted the urge to kick the man. "I won't have those memories for the rest of my life." It's okay, it's okay. It's okay if your memory is gone. It's okay as long as you're fine." The man hugged her again and patted her back to comfort her. Sima Yue was speechless. Therefore, she inexplicably became this man's daughter. She became the only daughter of the eternal brilliant city lord, a woman who was notorious for being arrogant and despotic. Sima Yue stood in the courtyard and looked at the forever gray sky. She missed the blue sky and white clouds of the human world. Sigh. She sighed for the umpteenth time, but her heart was stuffed. Ting Shan and Ting Shui were not far behind her. They sighed again when they saw her. They looked at each other with disbelief and helplessness in their eyes. Ever since young Miss lost her memory, she changed completely. She no longer beat and scolded them. She only sighed all day long. The number of times she sighed in the past 2 days was more than before. Moreover, she always said that she was not young Mississippi. She did not call old Master father and did not stick to him anymore. She had become so strange. Sima Yue was lying on the rocking chair. She was ordered to rest in bed for the past 2 days. She finally felt better today. She strongly requested to take a walk in the courtyard. However, she was pressed on the reclining chair by the 2 maids and could not get down. There was always someone following her. She did not have the ability to check the situation in the spirit pagoda for the past 2 days. She did not know how the beasts were doing after the robbery. She could not sense their situation and was very anxious. She was shocked by the face that suddenly appeared in front of her. She subconsciously slapped him. "You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."